Here's the Suckles!
Good evening, brothers and sisters of the Leaf. Coming to you live from Venice Beach, birthplace of bodybuilding and body ogling, it's the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. Tonight the boys give Bruce Willis one more chance as they put their shades on and soak in his sunny 2017 private eye adventure, Once Upon a Time in Venice. A new Bruno flick should be paired with a brand spanking new Stogie and beverage, so the crew will be setting fire to the impressive Pappy Van Winkle Tradition cigar by Drew Estate as they down a bottle of the complex Brixton Mash Destroyer from John Drew Brands, and then a 12-pack of Barrow Brewing Company's tasty farm-to-market Persimmon Saison. A rum bourbon mashup, followed by an 8% ABV beer. Maybe we should just call tonight's episode Drink Hard 2, Drink Harder, or Drink Hard 3, Drinking Hard with a Vengeance. Well, either way, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers. Let's party. So, sit back, folks, light 'em up, and enjoy the show.
I got things to look through here. Be informative.
It's a real podcast, Yak Boy.
I like it.
It's sort of weird showcasing a spirit for the first time instead of beer.
Yeah.
I feel weird. 61 episodes. We've never done a licker before.
Well, we've had plenty of liquor on the show.
Not as like
the showcase, the headliner.
No, we've had plenty of liquor on the show.
Kind of nervous.
Why?
nervous.
You know me, I don't like change, boys. I despise it. Well, that too. I mean, we've been trying to get our hands on this bottle for like over a year now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So there's kind of a mystique that's grown and grown, and now the moment's finally here. I don't know. Get a little nervous.
Get a little stage fright, are you?
Get a little nervous. Stage fright, I guess, is one. I don't know if I get stage fright. You can't.
Performance anxiety.
Performance anxiety, and not in my position. You can't afford to have those things. Did I ever tell you about the high school girlfriend I had, the railroad track story? You may have heard it. I dated this girl in high school, my sophomore year, and she had just broken up with a guy I knew. Small town, everybody knows everybody, but one day, we were, hanging out at her house or whatever, and I was like, I gotta ask, because they've been going out for really quite some time, and nobody was talking about, high school, everybody knows why couples break up.
Oh, yeah. That stuff goes around like the next day.
Nobody was talking. And, we've only been on a couple dates or whatever, but I was like, I gotta ask you, what happened? What happened with you? And I'll keep all the names, protect the innocent or not so innocent. And I was like, what happened with you guys? And she was like, well, we finally got to, where we were serious enough to get serious about doing some things, and we were just about there, and he freaked out and completely wigged out, ran out the back door of her house, butt ass naked. She lived down by the railroad tracks on the other side of town and she said he just naked as Jaybird just ran away down the railroad tracks.
At this point, I'm going to intersplice a scene of Rick James. Cocaine. It's a hell of a drug, man.
No, these are innocent youngsters. But that's like you said. That's what I'm feeling right now. That performance anxiety.
Well,
I'm like a naked 16-year-old boy running wild down.
If you go running out of the studio
tracks,
butt naked, you're not taking the bottle with you.
By the way, John Drew Brands, if you want to use that in your marketing, it'll make you feel like a naked teenage boy running naked and wild and free down the railroad tracks of life. That could be something there.
Possible.
The wind blowing through your cheeks.
And let's just say, as time went on, I knew why he ran. That's a whole nother story. What a bizarre opening.
Very.
Don't ever bring up performance anxiety again.
Yeah.
You can if you want. I don't care. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club, episode 61.
61.
And this is a special episode. It's the day after Halloween here. in the corner of No Hope as we're recording this. Did you boys get your fair share of candy?
Man.
Yes, I did.
You look miserable still.
Yeah. I have eaten my body weight in candy.
1 for the trick-or-treaters, 3 for you.
Actually, the rain kind of kept the trick-or-treaters away, so the brave, fortunate souls that came to our house loved us because we had like so much candy to give out. We were just like, take it, kid, take it.
Nice.
You have nut allergies? I don't care. We're sneaking a couple into it. No, we didn't. But no, it took we had our Halloween party. It took a good, day to recoup after that. It was just, I love Halloween, man.
You look recouped.
We're co-opt.
I think it's as good as we're going to get him.
Yeah.
Speaking of Halloween, I was watching you see that clip of the talk show host. I think her name's Wendy Williams.
Oh, yeah.
It's Wendy Williams.
She's a talk show host, daytime talk show host.
Okay.
But she was having her Halloween episode. Like in the middle of a costume contest, man. She just passed out live on TV. And it was one of the
TNCC style.
What's the thing? As I was watching, I was like, man, that's a miracle. That's never happened to us. As shit faces we get. But I was like, well, Cody on that Roadhouse episode. But you were sitting down.
I was.
She's standing up. And like she starts like slurring, like,
oh man,
and then she gets like real. You see it? She gets real tense, and then just. It's even more hilarious because she's dressed up like the Statue of Liberty. She's got like the big hat on and shit. And she just.
I hope she's all right.
Oh yeah, she's fine.
Oh okay.
I wouldn't be.
Well, I mean, was it like alcohol induced pass out?
They gave the usual exhaustion and dehydration from the Statue of Liberty suit.
Oh okay, yeah.
You mean chemical dependency?
Well, she had
and or lack thereof.
Her knees were locked. It cut circulation off. It's a real condition.
YouTube it was fucking hysterical. And she's fine.
Good, because I was about to say, man, she probably had a stroke or something, and we're just freaking going to town on her.
She's in a coma. No, of course not. She's fine. Quick question for you guys. Who doesn't like free shit?
I like free stuff.
Everyone? Everyone likes free shit. Including us, your favorite Tuesday night heroes. We love it. So, Groovy Guy Gifts, an online shop specializing in personalized gifts for men, contacted us and asked if we'd be interested in reviewing one of their products here on the show. And when I saw they had a lot of drinking paraphernalia, I was no brainer. Let's do this. So Joe over at Groovy Guy Gifts sent us this personalized handsome box. You see, it's you on YouTube can see this. For you iTunes listeners, I'll put some pictures of it on the episode page. It's got TNCC here engraved in the.
I can't see it. You're holding it to the
I'm
cabinet.
sorry.
All right, there you go. Yeah.
It is indeed.
It is
fine.
indeed TNCC engraved on the top.
And then on the inside here, there are 2 shot glasses engraved with TNCC.
Very nice.
You cannot use them.
Oh.
They're only for guests. We have special guests in the corner of No Hope.
Oh, then apparently we don't like free stuff because we never get free stuff, huh?
What if you're a VIP, such as myself?
Well, VIP, it's different.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a nice set. Shipped here super fast. Retails for $29.99.
That's not too bad.
So if you got a
2
special
shot glasses.
Yeah, 2 in a box.
It's pretty good.
You guys prove?
For an engraved?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might have to get a couple of every year. Every year we do a annual fishing trip.
I have to get some of those for my other friends. Every year, me and my other friends go on a trip that I don't invite these 2 lushes to.
The high school friends that I keep in touch with.
Yeah.
They hold so closely their sacred bond of friendship. I might have to get something to commemorate that.
That sounds really special. I'm sure the guys would love something like this.
It's great.
Yeah.
Sign my tears in my glass.
If you're looking for gifts for special someone, groomsmen gifts. Maybe you just want to send your favorite podcast a nice thank you for all the free laughs over the years. We're giving you the website of GroovyGuysGifts.com. Peruse their selection of personalized wallets, flasks, torchlighters. I almost went in for the torchlighter.
Yeah.
But I thought I would do something we could all enjoy. Kind of like your getaways with your other friends. They also got whiskey stones,
Well, without you guys, I do truly enjoy it.
cufflinks. You name it, they got it. GroovyGuyGifts.com.
Thank you, Groovy Guy Gifts.
Speaking of
That
gifts,
is awesome.
Tut, if I were to, let's say, well, now obviously I would never buy you a gift after this. It's a travesty.
Oh, come on. I'll still accept gifts.
If you wanted to send me a gift for being a jackass to me, where would you go?
I would go to our website and click on the Amazon link that is on the homepage. Everything you get will give us a little bit of kickback to it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. We just get a little something from Amazon for promoting them. And with the holiday season coming up, I've already starting to get my Santa Claus list together, getting that to the wife, and I'm like, you need to go to our website, click on the Amazon link, and then buy the stuff.
Do it.
Same thing with Famous, because they goes a big old Famous banner up there, and even if you don't buy anything, which I totally suggest you should, go click on the link, let them know that the power of the TNCC people are out
Correct.
there.
Go to our homepage, click on Amazon, click on Famous, do us some swells. We'll love you for it. Well, we got a special episode for you. As I said, tonight's theme is all things new.
All things new.
We've got a new spirit to drink, a brand new cigar to smoke, a brand spanking new film to talk about, and as a bonus, we got a just released brand new beer. We're the only podcast that pairs beers with our spirits.
Beers,
we can't just do a
cigars,
We can't just
movies.
do a spirit.
Drinking one thing, crazy talk.
So
I was
once
about to
this,
say, what are we going to do for ratings next? Pair prostitutes? I mean, we're starting to cover all the vices.
once this bottle's cashed in the next 15 minutes, we've got some beers.
I'm joking about the prostitutes.
Of course, and it wasn't funny. Maybe your other friends find that kind of shit humorous, but not here, pal. We keep it clean. Where the fuck was I? So it's good. Yeah, we got a lot to get to, but like I said, all things new. Sometimes we'll do a cigar that's been out a couple years. God knows we've been doing a lot of 80s films lately. Everything we're doing on the show tonight is fresh, new, and in your face.
In your face.
And unlike that certain someone, I'm not going to take off running naked out the back door of this place. I'm sticking in there. I'm not afraid.
All right.
Can I strip down and run away naked?
Well, 3 a.m. usual.
Oh, okay.
The usual deal.
Good. Just so long as that option's still on the table.
First up, I'm going to turn it over to Yak Boys always for our booze specialist. But just to give you viewers a glimpse of what we're doing here, we are going to talk about first the Brixton Mash Destroyer.
Beautiful, beautiful label.
By John Drew Brands. It is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. They did a great label design.
Oh, they did. Tell us about it.
The Brixton Mash Destroyer. We got the 750 milliliter bottle. It's very nice. Beautiful picture. It's almost patriotic. I would describe it as little kind of a mosaic surrealist picture
I like
on
the
it.
mosaic. I like the surrealism.
But the name of itself, the Brixton Mash Destroyer. He chose, which is out by John Drew Brands. He just, besides being well known for cigars, Drew Estate cigars, which is the second largest in the world now. He has recently gotten into the spirits business. And with this, he's released this Brixton Mash Destroyer. Brixton is named after an area in London which has an incredibly broad cultural base. And
it's kind of like Brooklyn in
correct.
New York.
He picked it because of that, because he called it Brixton is the Brooklyn of England. And he, being a native Brooklynite, likes that sort of thing. So he thought the name was cool from that aspect. Mash, because it is a mashup.
That's wrong, because now I'm just thinking in my head, hey, I'm walking here. Except now I'm trying to picture it with a London accent. I'm walking here.
He's going y'all ways. You don't know where he's
I'm
coming
walking
from.
here. Hey,
It's a
I'm
mashup.
walking here.
It's a mashup, Tut.
Oh.
It's a mashup.
So that's the point. You should be thinking of that now with the London accent.
You
Two
don't.
things.
You don't know what's going on.
Hey, I'm walking
It's like,
here.
it's like chocolate and peanut butter.
Okay, all right.
Was that an English accent? Chocolate and peanut.
Chocolate
I
and peanut
think you
butter.
did it on accident.
Did I? Oh, God. Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
I'm not very good with
Wait a
it.
minute.
But the mash is actually because this is a mixture of bourbon and rum. He it's 45% rum, 55% Kentucky bourbon. And it is currently unlike anything else on the market. No one, as far as I could find, I mean, if there's other smaller brands and they're not getting out there.
They're not getting out there.
And so this is the first one where it's actually, and they're mixed after, not during fermentation or distillation. They're mixed after.
Two complete products that are then introduced to one another.
Correct.
Okay.
Is a Kentucky bourbon and a Florida rum. The rum is made from sugarcane, grown in the Florida Everglades.
All right.
So and this in itself, it comes in as a 90 proof, 45% alcohol.
What was where's the bourbon distilled?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. So it's an American-made spirit.
Yes.
All right. Just want to make sure.
Yes.
You can. I'll come back to you in just a second, but a lot of the art aspect of the bottle design, a lot of the Brixton influence, a lot of that. If you go to, I'll have it on the episode page, but if you do go to YouTube, our YouTube channel, we interviewed JD, Jonathan Drew, Snacky. He goes by a million different names, but he's our friend, and we interviewed him for like an hour and a half or something, about a year and a half ago at Cats Fest, and we spent a good portion of the conversation talking about John Drew brands as he was just kind of introducing the lines, and that was way ahead of the game. They're just now starting to get out there. Massachusetts, Georgia. We just within the last 2 weeks got it here in Texas.
Yes.
I
was actually surprised that we had it here in Texas.
Me too. What else you got?
He put from his own website here, saying as to why he chose about this, quoting him.
This will be good. Yak Boy talking like JD.
I will not talk like JD. I cannot talk like JD. So I won't even try. For the time I founded my little I founded my little handmade cigar factory in 1996. We never asked for permission to craft any of the blends that turned Drew Estate into the second largest in the world. We just got up early and worked hard every day. There was a crew of us together in a foreign land collaborating to make a difference. And I truly believe that we created something beautiful that changed the game forever.
That I would concur with.
Yep.
Drew Estate definitely did break the mold, to use cigar terms. Changed the way the business was done. Changed the culture. And that's not me as a Drew Estate fanboy. That's me. That's just history.
Yeah.
You can't deny history. So I know JD is now back as president of Drew Estate, just recently announced. So that'll lead us into our cigar here in a minute. But boy, first impression, guys. We both poured a glass on the rocks.
Yeah.
Or you didn't have any on the rocks, did you?
No, I had it on the rocks.
Did you have some on the rocks?
Yeah.
And then, boy, you sure pick up a lot more of the distinct profile neat.
Oh, yeah. I'm always a fan of drinking any alcohol neat. Matter of fact, this is the first time I've ever had, and of course, most of the ice is melted. And the problem with, you get ice in your drink, you melt it down, it waters it down. I understand that if you splash water in bourbon, that's the American way to release, a little bit of aroma and flavor.
I think Yagboy and I's thought process was the rum aspect. I'm not a big straight, neat rum drinker.
No.
I equate rum with a little bit of ice.
Yeah. I usually equate rum with
Coke.
some Coke.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that.
I'm sorry, Cuba Libre.
But boy, it's. I won't be going back to the ice. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna. If anything, we'll just maybe chill it.
Okay.
See how that goes.
Okay.
If you follow John Drew Brands on Instagram, one of their brand ambassadors on there is touring around doing different events, and he'll post some recipes for what to do with. I mean, it's a unique drink. You gotta have some, like a Negroni. I was telling Yak Boy. They were doing a Brixton Negroni and some stuff. Tonight we're just it's our first. We're just dipping our toes in it.
It's got the rock on there, the Brixton Jabroni.
no, the Negroni. The Negroni.
Oh, okay.
Not the Jabroni. That's another thing. I definitely Was it 45% rum? You said.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It is. It's 45, 55 bourbon.
I get a very strong rum. Like,
It's funny because like when
on the back end, I get like
with
a
the
really
ice melted.
strong
I was
rum
thinking,
presence.
and rum to me is always so much sweeter.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, and obviously the bourbon is really cutting that. So it is sweet, but it is not like.
It's very sweet.
Sometimes I give rum and I call it, obviously made from sugar. It's just syrupy sweet.
No.
And this
that's
is
really
not.
weird.
No.
And I like that.
I do like that, and it is sweet just on the first initial contact with your lips and your tongue.
Well, it's funny
but
because
then
like
on the back end, that
when
rum kind of spikes up like a real stronger rum, not like I equate with like a
but not like
Caribbean
a black
rum.
spice, molasses based.
No,
Yeah.
more like a powerhouse, like a 151 kind of back end.
It's interesting because like when we first opened the bottle, that was all you smelled was rum. Now that we taste it, man, it's just kind of an interesting way of how the bourbon interacts with the rum. Because it definitely shifts away from bourbon profile, even though you can still taste a little bit of bourbon profile through there.
It definitely still. Now that I agree, the bottle smelled of heavy rum smell, but now that I'm smelling I just get nothing but bourbon on the
It's
nose.
weird.
Yeah.
It's like,
What is this thing?
what are you? What are you? What do you want from me?
Answers. Until I get them, I'm gonna keep drinking you little bastard. Yeah, well, let's.
I like it, man.
We'll come back to it. Let's.
Okay.
I think we shouldn't have it all drank for another 5 minutes. So we'll. Once the beer is gone, or maybe once the Brixton Mash Destroyer is down the tanks, we needed a beer tonight. We need a new beer tonight.
Yeah.
So I went to a new brewery, newish, about a year old, down the street from where I live, Barrow Brewing in Salado, Texas. Their farm to market, Saison, their seasonal beer, just hit stores. What?
Farm to market. Are you sure that's not an Austin beer?
Dude, where do you think you turned off to get to my house? It's a farm to market road.
Oh yeah,
They're
it is
everywhere.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't own everything, Austin.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
Tell us about the. Here's I got a can right here. Farm to market. What is it?
Good old Barrow Brewing. Wonderful town.
I think last time we did the ski boat.
The
Ski Boat Blonde.
Blonde, which we enjoyed.
They did.
I actually at that point had not been to the brewery. I have since been several times. Last time you and I went to Oktoberfest up there. We didn't invite Tut because he never invites us on his trips with his friends.
And I was at home when y'all started posting those pictures, and I was like, "You sorry sacks."
But they offer a ton more obviously at the brewery.
Yes.
In the brew pub than they do.
Look for
in
those
stores.
ones that will, like the farm to market, that catch a base. People really enjoy it.
Had you had this at the brewery?
I had not.
Okay, so you have not
This
tried
will be
this yet.
new. All things new.
All things new. I like it. A persimmon.
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 Yeah.
Saison.
The farm to market is, as I said, Saison / farmhouse ale, as it's known. This one here is 8% ABV and 21 IBUs.
8%.
8%.
21.
So it is a little bit higher. Now the farmhouse ales are typically higher in alcohol content. They range, basically the low end will be around 5 to 6. They'll go up to 8 to 9. In this instance, they have added persimmons. If you're not familiar with that fruit, I thought I was familiar, but I was not.
I was my grandpa and me. We used to pick persimmons in Longview, like all the time.
What'd you do with it? Make a pie?
No, we ate them.
Yeah.
Oh.
They look kind of similar to like a tomato,
Okay.
but they in different colors. I mean, they'll be more
What's
like
it
a orange to kind of a brownish.
It tastes
depending. Obviously they're sweet.
I thought it was kind of like a peach, except a bitter peach.
Yeah. So I mean,
There's
there's
a pucker factor on it. I mean,
A little bit of
You
a-
say sweet, you say bitter.
little bit of stringent.
but sweet.
You
bitter.
say peach, he says tomatoes. I don't know what the. It's like the Brixton Mash. I don't know what the fuck a persimmon
I said
is.
it looks like a tomato,
Oh yeah.
which tomato is also a fruit, by the way. Just so everyone's all
we all know that, dude.
just making sure. Yeah, this one looks like a tomato, but it grows in a tree, so it's it doesn't grow on a.
Would you and your grandpa climb the trees?
No, they would fall down, and so we'd pick them when they were on the
Oh,
ground.
so you picked them
If
up
there
off
was
the ground.
something- If there was something that was low hanging, we would get
So
that
you didn't
too.
pick them, you picked them off the
We
ground.
picked them off the ground. Wait, what did you just say? We picked them off the ground? Yes, we picked them off the ground. And
Well,
then we
usually
picked
when
them
you
from
say
the
my
tree.
grandpa and I picked
So
them, it's
guess
like
what?
you're actually, I'm picturing like those cranberry guys out in their waders, That's what I was picturing you and your grandpa doing.
There's not a lake out there.
I wouldn't know. You never invited us out there.
I was like 6 years old.
Your story checks out. All right. Well, whatever the hell a
I'm
persimmon is.
really really to get into the persimmon.
So you
beer
have a big
later.
history with persimmons.
And that's why I'm like, when I saw persimmon, I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good. So I'll hold judgment. I'll keep an open mind.
Why'd you have all these memories of picking them if you don't like them?
Oh, I like persimmons. Just am I going to like them in my beer?
Oh, okay. I thought you were like having flashbacks. Like, did your grandpa touch you? Did your grandpa do stuff to you?
Shut your mouth. You shut your mouth.
With each sip, Tut sunk into a darker and darker place. I hate this beer.
It's like I was at a Kevin Spacey party.
Oh,
Too soon.
Ouch.
Too soon on many levels. What else?
Make it go away for getting juice.
What did the head brewer over there have to say about the persimmon beer?
He said that it with a strong pepper and clove,
Okay.
you'll get then. It'll follow up with a sweetness from the persimmon on the backside.
Okay.
All right. That sweetness is why, when we were looking to do a beer to follow up with this, we figured, there would be some sweetness with the rum.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the more I sip on it, it's getting more and more sweet to me. The Brixton Mash. But anyway, we figured a fruit, maybe a beer with some fruity sweetness to it. We've had that blow up in our face before.
I was about to say the hibiscus.
The hibiscus, the bloodwork orange. But we'll see. We'll see how the persimmon.
I was about to say I've liked the barrel offerings that I've had before.
I am a huge.
So I'll give them. I'll go open mind.
Is it triple IPA or double? The Mystery of the Deep.
Double.
Yeah, it's a double.
Man, that's good.
I like the
And
Mystery of the Deep.
And I believe
I
that's
like the
coming
blonde.
out. I believe that's coming out in cans, but we've been doing a lot of IPAs lately. So I also like their Royal Street ESB is a good beer.
I don't think I've tried that.
I think that's a brewery only.
Yeah, I haven't seen it
but,
for sale anywhere.
Yeah, go check them out. Downtown Slow, Texas. It's a good stop. Food trucks. Austin, you don't own those either.
Yes, we do.
So yeah. So that's tonight's offerings on the drinky drink side. We also do a little smoky smoke. And
Yeah,
tonight,
I've been waiting to light this up.
I've been flapping our jaws. It's time to get to it, boys. Tonight's cigar is the Pappy Van Winkle Tradition by Drew Estate.
Pappy Van Winkle.
Quite possibly
Any kid to rip.
Distant cousins.
Distant cousins?
I think so.
All right. Yeah.
This probably one of the biggest releases this year in the cigar world. Back in, I believe, 2014, Drew Estate announced the release of the Pappy Van Winkle barrel fermented cigar. This is where they utilized a unique tobacco blend, including the Kentucky Fire Cured wrapper. It was one of the cigar's two wrappers. It was a double wrapper, and it was barrel fermented, where the leaves are compressed, real highly compressed in bourbon barrels, and then screw jacked down for like long periods of time. It's a cool process. Similar technique they used to pipe tobaccos.
Yeah.
Making pipe tobaccos. It was a big hit.
I like the screw jack.
It was sold. It's a good band name, or it'd be a good supervillain name.
Screw jack.
Screw Jack.
Screw
I just
Jack
keep thinking of
Johnson.
Steeplejack.
Oh, there's a Steeplejack. I guess that's kind of close. What about Screw Jack 3?
No.
Yeah.
Steeplejack 4 already has him beat.
Well, it was a big hit. They sold it exclusively on the Pappy Van Winkle website. And that leads us to this year's IPCPR 2017, where tonight's second and more traditional, see what I did there? Traditional DE Pappy collaboration was announced.
Did you do that because it's called the Tradition?
Correct.
All right.
The Pappy Van Winkle Tradition, phase 2 of the relationship between Drew Estate and Pappy Van Winkle. For more on the cigar, I'll use the words of the man who gave birth to it, DE Master Blender Willie Herrera.
Are you going to do it in a
I
Willie
will now
Herrera accent?
use my best Spanish accent. I apologize in advance for offending everyone. No, I'm not going to do an accent.
Oh.
I remember it like it was... No. I remember it was like it was yesterday in 2010 when JD and I talked about me joining Drew Estate. We flew down to La Gran Fabrica to test my blending style in 2 days of nonstop creating. I ultimately produced 3 blends, one of which eventually became the Herrera Steli. When I heard the news that Julian Van Winkle had selected one of my other 3 original blends for my first trip to Nicaragua, I was humbled to say the least. So basically, those first 2 days before he even worked for Drew Estate, Willie came down and just blended his ass off in the toy box that is Drew Estate, a million different tobaccos. And out of everything he could have done, Julian Van Winkle picked one of those original 3 to be the Tradition.
I like that Herrera kid. Give me that cigar.
Well, from Louisville, Kentucky, president of Old Rip Van Winkle Distillery, Julian Van Winkle has this to say.
Oh, it is called
I'm
Old.
extremely happy to partner. No, I don't.
Is it really called Rip Van Winkle Distillery?
Yeah,
Hell yeah!
And there's a Rip Van Winkle booze too. They have a lot of different.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, it's because we drink the cheap shit. This is Julian Van Winkle speaking. I'm extremely happy to partner with La Gran Fabrica Drew Estate to produce our new Pappy Van Winkle Tradition cigar. We've been working together on this project for a couple years, and I'm extremely happy with the blend and incredible level of quality control displayed at the Nicaraguan factory. Willie Herrera did a wonderful job in the blending of this cigar, which for me is one of the best I've ever had. The construction of the cigar is second to none. I find that it smokes very evenly and is a true medium body cigar. High praise from Mr. Van Winkle.
How many cigars has he had?
He's always smoking cigars.
I just want to know that.
Yeah, he's like his grandpa or whoever.
He could be like my mom. This is the best cigar I've ever had. And I was like, Mom,
no, he knows his his stuff. Hey, wasn't Vanilla Ice a Van Winkle? Wasn't that doofus Robbie Van Winkle or something like that? Wasn't that his real name?
I don't know.
Yak Boy, do some quick research for me. I think he was. Surely that.
Are you thinking like the Facebook Van Trumpets or whatever?
No, I think Vanilla Ice. I think that Ding Dong was a Van Winkle, but he couldn't have been related to like the most prestigious name in Kentucky bourbon.
Well, maybe he could, and that's how he got a career.
That can't be right. Yeah. Are there other Van Winkles that aren't related to these guys? I never met have you met a Van Winkle?
It's pretty. No, I've never.
It's like a Tuttle.
I've seen some Van Winkles, but
Robert Van Winkle.
He is a Van Winkle. I was right.
That's probably how he got his career. Doom 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 doom.
How about that?
Doom 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 doom. Oh, just take the tune.
Oh wait, it's right here in my notes. Here's a quote from Vanilla Ice. No, of course not. Okay, well, I've pumped it up enough. Certainly on my radar for this year, wanting to smoke these. So we each have 2 tonight. So we're going to compare the 2 for consistency, for flavor. See what we're getting to the bottom of these bad boys. No stone left unturned.
That's pretty nice.
Not even one.
Well, we'll see.
It's a lot of stones.
Okay, so light up, boys. We also, on top of all these fun things, have a movie to talk about. As far as I know, no one in this movie is currently involved or being investigated for sexual assault or harassment.
Well, as
of
this podcast,
well, that could change within the hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, would you have those sexual assault alerts set up on your phone?
I do.
If anything pops up, we'll get an alarm. Good God, Jesus, what a mess!
Will there be anyone left in Hollywood?
Just a shitstorm of. Hey, you know what? If this keeps up with all these producers and directors getting.
So I might get to say there's a chance.
I might get to make movies again.
Wait, if they've seen your movies, they're not going to give you a chance. They're like, dude, we've already got lawsuits out the ass.
Hey, my record stands
No, I'm just saying
as it stands.
your material is a little bit
material's never been a problem.
risque.
I have always handled myself with dignity,
That's true.
respect.
That's true.
I never even raised my voice, let alone drop my pants. Everything stays right where it's supposed to be. Not on the podcast.
Moving on.
I'm talking about movie sets.
Moving on.
Are you sure you're not going to pull your penis out in front of the actresses, Mr. Cade? I don't think so. Good enough. You're hired.
You're hired.
I'm in. Put me in, coach. Well, like I said, somehow they made this movie that we're going to watch. At least we got one out before the whole shithouse went up in flames. God, what a mess.
It has been just insane.
Harvey Weinstein never touched you guys, did he?
I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure anymore either.
What a mess.
Well, the problem is that now it's becoming a political thing to where, the right's kind of cheering the fall of Hollywood. And I'm just like, all right, be careful, because one, you knew about a lot of this stuff because a lot of this stuff was common knowledge and nobody said crap until it was politically expedient to do so. Just kind of hold on to your horses, because who knows what's going to be politically expedient, a year from now.
That's a very good point. Real quick, now that we've lit up,
I'm not defending sexual abuse, by the way.
It did not come. Surprisingly, did not come across that way at all. Real quick, let me give you the rundown on the technical specs on this thing. We are smoking the Bellicoso Fino 5x50. It is an Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro wrapper, a little bit darker Habano wrapper, Indonesian binder, with aged filler tobacco from Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic.
I just had like a little flashback to Fox News going, TNCC podcast personality double.
Shows you walking your car. Get the camera off me.
Man, drawing this thing is perfect. I love the little spice. It wasn't like a pepper blast off of the bomb. It was just a nice, smooth little spice kicking in there.
It was spice, and then it was immediately counteracted by, to me, with a creamy note. Like, hit you with this, and then this real nice creaminess came in.
There is creaminess in it.
On the back end there. Let me just get this going nice and good before we keep going. What are your initial...
Just the initial unlit, it was just very sweet earthiness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And after lighting up,
I like that cold draw.
got a hint of cream. Just a hint.
I'm
I'm
getting
getting a little bit more than a hint. That's weird.
I'm getting a lot of cream.
Yeah.
I'm also getting a coffee bean.
Yeah. I'm not getting a coffee bean. I'm getting the butter. That was pretty neat. No, I'm joking about the butter.
Butter.
I'm joking about the butter. The oh so elusive butter.
And you're gonna call me crazy, but I'm getting the kind of a saltiness. I've gotten before in cigar, but there's a kind of a salty.
Yeah, you're crazy on that one.
It's a thing. It's a thing. All right, you know what's so new? I'll come back to it. Let me take a drink of.
Mm-hmm. I'm liking this. I'm confused by its.
What do we always say here on the show, boys? What do I always say, especially on the show?
Don't give me boring.
Don't you give me a boring cigar. Don't you give me a boring beer. I think we can all agree, whatever our end assessment of this Brixton Mash Destroyer is, it is not boring.
No, one of my favorite lines from Talladega Nights is, "You're confusing me by your tactics, so I'm just going to sit here and act tough until I figure them out. This bourbon mash rum thing is confusing me by its tactics. I'm not even going to act tough. I'm just going to keep drinking it until I figure it out."
I like things that confuse, and I don't like things that are easily explained, whether it's a film, whether it's art, whether it's my whiskey, bourbon, and rum mash drinks. I like to be baffled. I like to have to figure some shit out. I like riddles. I like puzzles. I don't like esoteric shit for the most part where there is no answer. You know, I like if you dig enough and really work at it, you get some answers. But What you got?
A little breadiness on the retro.
Mhm. There's definitely a breadiness. It's almost, to me, sourdough. A fresh sourdough.
I was going to say a French baguette.
So we have cream that we all agree upon
Yeah.
after that initial spice. We have some breadiness. I got a slight coffee note, along with a kind of a salt component. And we're not even an inch into this thing. So let's draw, like you said. I just barely clipped the end of the bellicoso.
Burn line's great. Construction's fine.
Burn line. I touched up a little bit just because I was talking so much early on. The wrapper itself, you can barely see the seams in this thing. It is a beautiful wrapper.
Yeah.
I go through the cigars before I distribute them out to the table, so I can always make sure I get the prettiest ones. And they were all pretty. Like I usually try to give you guys the scrubs, and they just all look great.
Well, thanks for telling us that now.
Did I say that out loud?
You did.
Oh,
Go
that is
ahead and
smooth.
just throw this whiskey rum in your face.
Did you see me write
That
notes?
is smooth. I did.
Did you see me write notes?
For those
That's awesome.
for those of you loyal listeners, now I don't want you to distract you from the show. I don't want you.
Oh yeah, I'm not participating in the show because I'm doing the freaking homework you assigned.
We are going to try a new thing of rating our cigars. We put a lot of time into our rating system, how we want to do that, how we think one is fair, and how it can work. So I had Yak Boy print us up these cute little worksheets to where we can grade our cigars, and well, it's a process.
It's a process. Can you define the process? No. Actually, we can't because now we got notes. Suck it.
The notes will be in our archives if anyone questions what we're doing. That reminds me, we need to get archives.
I'll get on that
Will
immediately.
you get on that? Thank you.
Can we
Lots
have
of archives.
can we
I'll
have-
install as many archives as
The
possible.
best archives.
Can we have interns that like put stuff in the archives?
I was really going to make it more like a giant warehouse, Indiana Jones style.
Ooh, yeah. Walk
Yeah, we
back
don't-
on row C3.
We don't need tut with interns in this.
A lot of crates and
in this
stenciling.
political climate. We do not need tut all around interns.
See, that's what's bad, man. When the doctor's not here, I get the full brunt of this stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I can't hide behind it. It's like when you get. Well, and I was not going to put it that way, but he shields a lot of my action. I never have to worry because I can always point at like, well, Tuttle did this. Well, Doctor did that.
I thought I kind of went off the rails literally earlier with that teenage naked boy story, but I was like, you know what? Tuttle will come in later with something. They'll forget all about that. He'll offend somebody. It was a fun story. It was it was a story out of the Wonder Years. You would see.
What would you do if I
Little
ran out of the room?
little Fred Savage running butt ass naked down the railroad tracks. A little hard on.
Would you catch up and put clothes on me?
Sing you a song. Yeah. To be a fly on that wall.
No.
No, I wouldn't want to be now. Now that I'm a grown up. Back then, I was curious, but like I said, it all made sense a few months later. Once Upon a Time in Venice,
All right.
2017.
2017.
A
Once
new
Upon a
film,
Time.
new movie, baby.
New movie. We are out of the 80s.
By the way,
And we are out of the horror film.
no more this year. I told you. I promised you.
Well, we can still. I mean, if something catches your eye. There's no reason. We don't do.
Tomorrow,
we don't do
next
rules.
week, we'll be doing a horror film.
From 1980s.
Real quick, has the sweetness really mellowed with the bourbon to you guys? Like, I don't know if it's just letting it breathe and kind of swirl a little bit, or usually it's like, hey, it's always so much better on the sixth beer. We haven't honestly drank that much, so
No.
to me, it's remarkably.
To me, I'm not getting. I've had bourbons that are far sweeter than this.
That's what I'm saying. That initial sweetness on the front end that we were all
Yeah.
talking about has kind of diminished the more it sits in the glass. It's much more bourbon tasting.
It's
at
kind of
this point.
it's kind of interesting because there's that sweetness that you get, and I'm not a big rum drinker. I just got a bottle of Florida Cana to kind of see what that's about. I've seen a lot of people doing on that.
Did you mix it with Coke or Coke Zero?
I haven't tried it.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
I haven't tried it, and I'm not going to mix it with anything.
Hey, even our old friend Skip over at Romacraft, he mixes Florida Cana with Coke. Everybody gives him shit about it.
Does he?
Why not?
All right, then.
If you like rum and
then
Coke,
it's gang.
Don't ever not do something because with this.
Well, no, it's not because I don't want to. I'm afraid of living a stereotype. It's just I want to try new things. I want to try.
It's the same
everything.
reason I.
It's
really
like tonight.
don't
I don't mix ice with my liquor, and tonight I put ice in it because I want to try it.
It's why I don't make an effort to clean up my malt liquor 40s before you guys show up here.
I really wish you would.
I'm not embarrassed. It is who I am.
You should be embarrassed.
You should love me for who I am.
We do, but you should be embarrassed.
And if you ever invite me on one of those fishing trips with your other buddies, I'm bringing the 40s, baby.
And that's why you're not invited. Just poured some. We've been kicked out of the Airbnb again. Thanks, Cade.
I'm not allowed in any Airbnbs. There was an incident with me running out naked.
Have a little clothes for my friend. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
like Tuttle Cocker. But yeah, it's amazing. Like the rum that was so heavy on the early stages has kind of seemed to die down as it's breathed a little bit.
This thing is mixing all over the places. It's like 1 minute you're catching it, and it's at different spots. 1 minute you're catching more of the bourbon profile. Next minute you're catching more of the rum profile. Next minute it's going back to the. It's all over the place.
Let me ask you this: as a guy who owns a bar and has spent some time behind the bar, are there a lot of cocktails that mix bourbon and rum?
There are some.
What's the most popular one? I can't think of any.
Well, I'm saying there's some. I know that they exist, but I've never had one.
I'm just trying to think of like JD, at a bar, like, oh,
I know they were out
like
there.
the peanut butter and chocolate moment, like, oh, that's pretty good. Maybe if I put it in a bottle together.
They were invented in 1980s by a bunch of drunk college kids. They've never been picked up by anybody credible.
Well, in that case, TNCC should bottle the Flaming Dr. Pepper.
That is a legitimate drink.
Yeah, they can't make them anymore, though. They got rid of Bacardi 151.
Well, they can make it with other things, but it's never as good.
It wouldn't be the same. But yeah, this drink does change. It's a fluid entity. It's becoming us. But no, it's very interesting. And the cigar...
This drink is very zen. It's flowing like water. It is taking on any form... I'm trying really hard not to do the Bruce Lee accent.
He's doing his... Dude, it's going to get me out hot water with the naked boys running around. The cigar up, still not even barely an inch into the... I'm looking at all of our construction is...
Spot on.
But man, creamy, and you know what that saltiness is? Peanuts.
Peanuts?
Peanuts.
Yeah, that's what I said, peanuts.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not like Charlie Brown's in the cigar.
I can agree with that.
Oh, I thought you said something else, sorry.
Oh. These nuts?
Close. North.
Oh, yeah.
Are you getting salty peanuts?
Yes, I'm getting salty. I'm not gonna. I can't say it. I just can't. I'm getting.
You ruined it. Now I can't stop saying it.
Well, no, that's a common component in cigars: a cashew or an almond, or I'm getting a salty peanuts.
Thank you for enunciating the second syllable.
This was just a hint of nuttiness.
Boy, it's good.
It is great. It
creamy.
is a good cigar.
It's not a mild cigar. It's got just a little bit of strength to it, enough to kind of...
I'm not getting a lot of the strength.
Well, no. I'm not saying it. I mean, it's not flatline on the mild. It's giving me something to let me know that there is some strength there, but that creaminess, that nuttiness, no spice, no peppery. That initial blast is gone.
Which is really weird because cigars that don't fit that Ligero profile, I'm not really that big of a fan of. That's a little bit out of my profile. I'm liking this. I'm loving the breadiness. I'm loving that creaminess. It's a good cigar, and I disagree. I don't think it's very strong at all.
No.
There's a little.
I didn't mean to imply that it was
bit
strong.
of a nicotine deal.
I just meant there was a slight there to give it A lot of times you have those tasty Connecticut's,
Yeah.
but they're just so mild with no nicotine and no strength that it's like, man, I wish this thing had just a little bit of oomph to it to kind of propel. And this does have enough of that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got you on that. It's a really good cigar.
Really, that cream on the retrohale too. I mean, on the draw on the retrohale, it's just a creamy fucking cigar.
Yeah. And normally I barely get cream.
Yeah, you're hard to.
And
we're creaming all over the place.
That was probably like the second profile or the second flavor I got out of the profile.
Oh man. Okay, this pairing wise, it's working. This the beer is. I'm sorry. Old habits die hard.
Old habits, yeah.
The booze,
sweet raisin
sweet raisins
on the retrohale.
That's your new catchphrase.
Sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins. Tell your doghouse is on fire. Sweet raisins.
All of a sudden, Spike Lee shows, or Spike Lee.
Luke Cage.
Yes. Stanley. All of a sudden, he shows up and is like, "Come on, that's just one word off."
As Luke Cage would say, "Sweet Christmas." You would say, "Sweet raisins."
And unlike
I don't think Stanley's popping up anywhere.
And he pops up everywhere. And unlike Luke Cage, I'm going to say this catchphrase everywhere, in every scene.
You can see it now. Tuttle's at the
Sweet raisins.
grocery store with his wife. Hey, they have one box of Honey Nut Cheerios left. Sweet raisins.
No, Honey Nut Cheerios. Sweet raisins.
You're confusing everybody. Anything you need from the produce? Sweet raisins. Okay. No, I hate raisins. Seriously, don't you guys hate raisins?
No, I like raisins.
Raisins are good.
They're good fruit.
Oh.
Do you hate raisins?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
They're gross.
No.
Just eat grapes. Everybody likes grapes.
Grapes are good too.
Oh,
They're just different.
If you could become
Oh my God, are we going to talk about this movie?
16-year-old you or you now, what would you prefer?
Me now.
Oh, actually, me now, yeah.
So that's why you guys like raisins. You're the old wrinkled versions of what used to be a nice plump
I'm
little
sorry.
grape.
Despite the cigar habit, my skin is taut.
It's taut. Sweet raisins. We'll get back to these guys. There is a secondary foot on here. I'm going to go ahead and remove it just because I don't want to mess with it later. It came off.
I'm amazed that I'm
easy.
I'm amazed that I'm still at y'all's.
I think
burning
maybe
down.
you're learning. Go a little slower and you start to pick up a little more flavor.
No, I'm sure that's not it.
I want to say I actually read a review of this cigar where they stressed the importance of smoking it slow. They actually smoked one a little hurried, and then when they smoked the other two slower, I'm trying to remember where I read that, but they were like, I cannot stress enough, this is a cigar to be savored slowly.
All right.
So keep doing what you're doing. Look at that ash. Beautiful.
Sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins. All right, you want to talk about the movie? Let's talk about the movie. Once Upon a Time in Venice. Did you guys watch on Hulu?
I watched it on Amazon.
It was streaming for free on Hulu.
Oh, son of a...
Sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins.
Sorry. I realized I forgot to tell you guys that.
Yeah, I picked it up off of Amazon.
Amazon.
Hulu. $5.
Oh, he watched on Hulu free. Well, dude, on Hulu I was surprised. No commercials. I was going to rent it if there were commercials.
Do you not have the subscription plan?
Yeah, but we only use it for shows. I'd never watch movies on there. I didn't know if they do because they do commercials on shows that we pay. We have a paid subscription.
Only
Only
some
on
of them.
certain ones.
Yeah.
Well, the
But
ones
not
we watch.
during the show.
Yeah.
No.
What?
No,
Yes.
They do it one at the front.
We have a Hulu subscription, and there are commercials during our shows.
No, you're
What?
full of it.
No, they
Not during. They do one at the front,
and one at the
one
end.
Incorrect. They do it every 10 minutes. I'm not imagining it. I know what I saw.
Then
you don't have.
Maybe
a
they don't
subscription.
do it on your comic book shows, but they do it on the shit I watch. McNeil Lehrer News Hour.
they haven't had that on the thing for like 10 years. I would love it if they showed that.
McLaughlin Group. I watch political shit to make me smarter.
Wrong.
Sweet raisins.
Wrong, petty buke buke.
Nova.
Man,
I do watch
The old one. The one that matters. Not that new stuff. Directed by Mark Cullen, who wrote another Bruce Willis film, 2010's Cop Out, but let's not hold that against him.
wow.
Sweet race. I got to stop saying now it's my catchphrase. I overtook it somehow.
Gimmick infringement.
Trivia time. What do these 10 titles I'm about to list off have in common? Ready? Let me get through them and then you can answer. First Kill, Marauders, Precious Cargo, Extraction, Vice, The Prince, The Cold Light of Day, Fire with Fire, Catch 44, Set Up.
What are Bruce Willis movies you've never heard of?
They're all movies put out after 2010 starring Bruce Willis that you've never heard of.
About to say, I was going to go with the answer of movies I've never seen before.
Dude, those are just a sampling of the fucking straight-to-video movies that Bruce Willis has done in the last 6 years.
He's working.
This guy used to be the biggest name in Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how much I think. I think that says more about how the business has changed. In a way, there's so many platforms. Like we were just on Amazon, Hulu. Everybody needs content. Everybody's pumping out, these flicks. And hey, if you can get Bruce Willis for a couple days, put his picture on the poster, and there's no posters anymore. Picture on the digital poster, and the guy's working. But he's making shit I've never seen.
Yeah, and apparently it's stuff that's not very well received either. Even this movie on Amazon was rated 3 out of 5.
And
they were bashing it on YouTube comments. Of course, YouTube comments bash everything, but...
Well, as big of an Arnold fan as I am, as you all know, I actually grew up literally idolizing Bruce Willis. I paid lunch money to a kid so he'd record Moonlighting for me because I didn't have a VCR. And then I'd trade another kid comic books in exchange for him letting me come over to his house and watch the VCR tapes of Moonlighting.
And that's how Cade learned economics.
I walked like David Addison, his character on Moonlighting. I talked like him. I even asked my hairdresser cousin, this is a true story, I swear to God. I had a cover of Bruce Willis on the cover of People magazine from the movie he did, Sunset, the Western.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, hey, can you do my hair like this, where it kind of gets up like this? And he actually educated a 10-year-old Cade on what a receding hairline is. It's like, that's not a choice, young Cade. That's how his hair goes. I was like, oh, because I couldn't get my hair to stick up like that. And, he still tells that story. He was very patient with me. Thank you, Cousin Mark. But if you think those things were intense, you ain't heard nothing yet. In 6th grade, I found a book in the library that had celebrity addresses in it to send off for their autographs. This was before the internet, obviously. And it had Bruce Willis in there, and the address was Laurel Canyon, part of Los Angeles. And we checked out because I read in People magazine that he had been arrested at a house party of his in Laurel Canyon for disorderly conduct. He was playing music real loud, and the cop showed up, and he took a swing at him or something.
Oh, okay.
So I remember Laurel Canyon, and here it was, his address, Laurel Canyon. So I wrote him a letter. I was kind of an unhappy kid in middle school, and I wrote him a letter asking if I could come out there and be his bodyguard. And I said I'd be perfect because nobody would suspect a kid of being your bodyguard, so I'd kind of go off the radar, and I wouldn't take up much, room, and I wouldn't bother him at all. But I was just really miserable, and I really just want to come out there and live with him.
I sleep in your closet. I'm real small.
Thank God I didn't write Kevin Spacey. No, but I really did, and I never heard back from Bruce. But I mean, that's kind of another level of. Nowadays, they'll be called stalkers.
Well, not when a kid does it.
Well, it gets worse. To this day, I still have what I call the Bruno box in my garage. I actually keep Bruce Willis's head in the box. No. You can attest to this. You've helped me move several times. I have a large cardboard.
Don't admit to anything. Do not admit to anything.
I have a large cardboard box.
Is Cody in trouble here?
And I don't let anyone look at it when we're moving, but it says BW on it. I call it the Bruno box. From a time I was in middle school when Moonlighting came out, I literally collected every magazine. I have all of his cassette tapes, albums, CDs, The Return of Bruno, books on moonlighting, TV guides. He was on the cover. I literally have a 20-pound box right up until like college.
2 years ago?
No, it was right around Pulp Fiction where I started to waver.
Yeah.
I almost threw it out a year or two ago. I found, like, what am I going to do? I don't even, I'm not, after Pulp Fiction, I kind of wavered on Bruce. For someone who was that obviously obsessed with a
Which
guy.
is interesting because, I mean, Pulp Fiction was kind of his comeback.
Well, it was, and I loved it. But, you know, as a kid, I didn't have a lot. I was the only kid, and I kind of lived in the movies.
Yeah.
And I kind of lived on TV, and I just, all right, I was fucking weird. Is that fair to say? But after Pulp Fiction, I kind of sensed in him
his career took
a guy not giving it 100%.
I disagree with Pulp Fiction.
No. I'm talking post Pulp Fiction.
Oh, now that I can. All right. Yeah,
And
I got you.
I've always had trouble
support.
supporting someone if I sense they're not giving 100%. Like, dude, why am I gonna
Give 100%
root
of my,
you
yeah.
on if you're not even doing this all, with everything you got? So I mean, I kind of
there's a difference between, you know, having a bad day at the office versus having 10 bad days at the office.
You're absolutely right. And even the other stalwarts of the action genre, Stallone, Arnold, you can say what you want about their shitty movies. They always went all in.
Yeah.
They never collected a check.
No.
And I kind of got that sense from him after Pulp Fiction, and it grew and grew and grew. So, you know, I just thought he was kind of sleepwalking through some stuff.
Which is kind of why I was surprised that you kind of went with this one.
Well, we had to. I wanted to give him another chance, and this seemed like a movie that wasn't straight up just action and
the trailer looked funny
and
as
a
hell.
scowl. It
Wow.
had some humor to it, but I mean, every once in a while since Pulp Fiction, there's been a diamond in the rough. I mean, for every Last Man Standing, which I love, there were 5 Mercury Risings.
Yeah.
For every one Sin City, there were 10 lucky number Slevens.
Slevens?
Yeah, see, he didn't remember that one.
Yeah.
It was just like every once in a while he'd give me a little bit of hope, and then it would just
Dash it.
completely just trash it. But somewhere in between the mucky muck, I just kind of lost my love for the guy. He wasn't the same man I first fell head over heels in love with. Is that the same experience you guys had with Bruce Willis? Did you write to him?
No.
Do you want to shave your heads and
No.
fake receding hairline?
No.
I don't need to do that now. I'm as close to him as I can get in terms of hairstyle.
God, I envy you. But growing up, I mean, you had to love him.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Were you big
Oh, yeah.
Moonlighting fans?
Oh, absolutely,
or-
man.
Moonlighting fans.
God.
I watched Moonlighting, but I wasn't just like, you know.
Oh, it changed my life. It was the wittiest writing I'd ever heard. I never heard people talk
Yeah.
because it was a very old school kind of black and white movie, zing and zing.
Yeah.
It was like I never heard so clever and so fast. I mean, I would write down his one-liners.
It was the predecessor of Whedon. Not Whedon. Who's the guy that you Sorkin?
Aaron Sorkin.
Sorkin.
Just dialogue for days.
Boom, 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 boom.
And I would write the shit down, and I would go into the next, day, and my teacher would be like, Matt, you got your homework? Do bees bee? Like I had all,
We get it. You like moonlighting. we get it. Do you have your homework?
But yeah, so getting back to Once Upon a Time in Venice, I'm sure this is the one that'll bring old Bruce back. We start things off. Do you want to get into it? Do you have anything to say about Bruce Willis, or do you want to save that for? We're gonna at the end. We'll do our
I'm
top
saying
5.
Let's go.
Let's get into this film. Any quick thoughts on the cigar before your ash is a thing of beauty.
Oh, it is beautiful. And normally I thump ashes really quick, but this thing is stacking it like dimes.
You like thumping those ashes, Dustin Hoffman style.
Hey, I want to apologize for anything I might have done.
Why?
No, I'm sorry. What?
You did it or you didn't do it. There's no what I might have. If I did,
What if you don't remember doing it?
oh, us style.
A style. Exactly.
Well, that's twice as bad.
I'm gonna say I didn't do it, but
Boy, that doesn't sound
It
like
might
me.
have.
But I'm sorry. It's kind of like, all right, you know what? I'm sorry, Dustin Hoffman. It could happen to any of us.
That's what.
By all accounts, though, he was sober when this
My
happened.
first reaction was like, "Look, you either did or you didn't. Don't hem-haw on this." But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, "Well, it's what 20 years ago."
He normally doesn't drink 2 bottles of tequila.
Yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of Wednesday mornings where I've texted you guys just to like, did I really do? I don't say that. Did I really do? I'm like, are we still friends? I think I might have done something.
I just want to apologize for anything I might have done last night.
Grabbing his ass right and left. All right. Well, we'll try not to dwell. Bruce Willis has never been. No accusations against him. So we can move forward.
Yet.
He didn't need to harass him. He's Bruce fucking Willis.
Which means yet. It's coming. It's coming.
Well, back to Once Upon a Time in Vegas again.
Venice.
We start. What'd I say?
Vegas.
Venice,
California. We start things off at a Venice beach skate park where grizzled old private detective Steve Ford, played by Willis.
Steve Ford. I was a fan of this name, and I don't really know why.
He always has the best. Say what you want about his movies. They always give him the best movie. Like, I remember one time I was flipping channels, and it was Hostage. Remember that movie? It was like a famed hostage negotiator, Jeff Talley.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give him good names. Steve Ford is lecturing a group of adolescents about the dangers of drugs and meaningless hooker sex, telling them point blank that if they go down his path of admittedly fun but ultimately deadly lifestyle choices, they'll wind up waking up one day naked on the floor with a gun in their mouth, me style. It should be a fun scene, but again, I kind of saw Willis walking through it a little bit, and I wasn't really feeling it, and it got me off. I'm like, oh boy, what am I doing here? However, when the Willis body double jumps on the skateboard,
oh god,
and takes off down into the swimming pool, dude, I was like, that saved it. Saved it.
And that's what the first thing I thought. As soon as he's like, all right, you know what, enough of this. Let's go skate, guys. And I thought, I was like, they are not going to show.
He would just walk.
They are
off
not going to show. Hell no, they showed the guy skating.
They had a bald guy, same build as Willis, skateboard his ass off in this movie, and it's so funny every time. Because every time he's like, let's do this, and then he'll step out of frame, and then that other bald guy will step in. It reminds me of the opening credits of another great TV show, 90210. Whenever they do the opening credits for Luke Perry, Dylan McKay, they show this other dude on the surfboard that's clearly not him.
But the funny thing is that I didn't mind the body double on the skate deal.
No, it was hilarious.
It
was funny, but they actually looked similar enough to where I can't knock it because they did it right.
They did.
Well, no, I had to actually stop and go back, just like, is that him? No, it's not. Because I was literally like, can he actually ride a skateboard?
No.
This dude's riding all over the place.
You might want to take the stop.
I was concentrating on the show and not my. Anybody else need a little more?
I'm good right now.
Chilled. Well, we know that Steve is the only detective in town because the film is narrated by his younger partner John, and he explains everything to us in voiceover.
I love voiceovers.
John, I do. John
if you're in a detective movie, you have to have a voiceover. I'm sorry.
But I was really wanting it to be Bruce Willis's voice and that gravelly, I just woke up from a hangover.
I will get to the voiceover later. I have some thoughts on that. John is played by Silicon Valley and Sprint Cellular commercial star Thomas Middleditch.
Is he Sprint or Verizon? I think he's Verizon.
It doesn't matter. He does cellular commercials.
Okay, yeah.
I think we're splitting hairs here. He was in a movie we did, The Final Girls.
Yes.
He was on, that was my first exposure to him. He has a very niche.
He is typecasted for life. He will not get another role outside of this quirky, nerdy
He's a dork.
guy. Yep.
And that's what he plays. He's Steve's younger partner. Across town, young John is shadowing a missing woman that they've been paid to track down. He follows her into a sex addiction group therapy session. Another early comedic scene that fell kind of flat for me.
Yeah, this one, I thought like...
Boy, we're like 5 minutes into this thing, and I'm like... Argh.
Yeah.
At this point, I wasn't really like... I thought I'd be like... Something would draw me in, like this is going to create some sort of dynamic.
Nothing.
Not really.
I was just sitting here watching it, cringing, like.
And it's fun because I mean, even though this guy's a one-trick pony actor, actually I can't say that because I don't know if he has range to do anything else because he hasn't been offered anything else or I haven't seen anything else. But I like this note that he hits, but it just it was kind of flat to me. It just wasn't all that funny.
First 5 minutes, everything is flat to me.
No.
Well,
I like the other actors in this sex
scene. The extras telling their sex stories were much funnier than he was.
Well, I thought with the Willis scene, it would have been great had you just seen him like going on this whole rant, like you can't do this to yourself. Blah, you'll end up like me with a gun, and then like if they showed the kids, if you hadn't seen the kids and then see them, then it would have been hilarious.
That's direction.
Yeah.
Who's he talking to? And you see these little 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
I mean, that I was just
and then one of the 10-year-olds takes off all their clothes and runs down naked down some railroad tracks. Again, why I'm not allowed to make movies. And why even when all the directors are kicked out, I still won't be allowed to make
They're not coming.
That is a good point. That would make that scene much funnier. Well, he follows this woman into this sex addiction therapy.
Anonymous.
It does fall flat.
She's hot though.
But he finally reveals himself to her as a private dick, and he talks her and he's like, your brothers have paid us to find you, and he talks her into spending the night at Bruce Willis's apartment.
I want you to spend the night at
my boss's apartment until he can take you to be reunited with your Samoan brothers in the morning. Well, not only does the beautiful woman Nola agree to spend the night at this total stranger's place, John's car hasn't backed out of the parking lot before we cut to the now naked Nola riding Steve like a bucking bronco.
Yeah. All right, one, I don't like seeing Bruce in this scene, but I do like seeing her in this scene.
Well, as they lie in bed post-coitus, did I use that right?
You did.
Yes.
Nola's two giant Samoan brothers.
Samoan brothers.
You thought I was going to say titties.
No, I didn't.
You did.
They were nice.
Nola's two giant Samoan brothers break into the apartment. They paid Steve to find her, not to fuck her.
I love these two guys. I think they're funny.
And after a brief tussle, Steve grabs his gun and his skateboard and leaps out the 2-story window where he dives straight into the swimming pool.
Body double.
And he doesn't fall like into the swimming pool. It's a perfect dive.
He knows what he's doing. He's thought about this. My escape plan.
That's the 15th window he's gone through this year.
Dude, he knows exactly what he's doing. With the brothers hot on his tail, he jumps on a skateboard and starts skating around downtown Venice, butt-ass naked, as they chase him down in their pickup truck. All right, now I'm laughing hysterically.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a 5-minute chase scene with Bruce Willis naked on a skateboard. He's covering up his junk.
Well, with the body double on the skateboard.
True. But it worked.
It totally does.
Especially when he gets pulled over by an old cop buddy. Steve used to be on the force.
Yes.
And as the cop buddy pulls up, he tucks his pistol in between his butt cheeks. So the camera cuts behind Willis with his hands up, and his gun's
clenching his butt cheeks to hold his gun.
And then, dude, you know me, when he pulls it out of his butt cheeks. Come on, dude.
But I do like his little saying here is, well, I know what that feels like now.
So that's what that feels like. My favorite deal is that I just pictured this vision in my head of me sitting in the editing room with Cade going, make that pop louder.
Make that little pop noise
It
louder.
has to pop, by God.
Do it again. Oh, there you go. Well, I know what that feels like now.
No, take it back louder. A little deeper. In there.
I do like that line at the end. That's what that feels like.
Holy shit, was that funny. Well, this crazy chasing goes on and on and on and on. He's naked skateboarding on top of... He'll go into a bar and skateboard across the bar.
All right, now I love this scene because here's the fact. He gets in there, he runs in, he's naked with a skateboard. He jumps on the bar with
all the way down the bar.
Then, and of course, I'm like, the bar has no drinks on it, which of course that's perfect setup. But what I love is the bartender. Come on, Steve. You can't have a gun in here.
Is it still in his butt cheeks at that point?
No, he's holding it.
Okay.
What I love, you can be naked.
You can be naked.
You can have a skateboard
across my bar.
But you can't have a gun in here.
Come on.
So he zips out the window.
He's like, all over the place. Where are these places? I want to go to them.
Well, eventually he wakes up.
Yeah, because the crowd's like cheering.
They don't even. Most of them don't even react like
Tuesday night at the pub. You want me to dust off my old skateboard?
Oh God!
Dude, I get 2 feet on it, break my hip. Oh God!
Yeah, let's just pull a rug over his.
Rest in peace, O'Brien's. You were a great pub. Well, he finally wakes up this fat pizza shop owner he knows and begging him for help with his dong flapping around in the warm Venice breeze. Help me in, just let me in. the guy's like, "You got to help find my car." His car got stolen.
Come on, man, don't break my heart again.
And he's like, "All right, fine." So at this point, man, we're having a good time in this film. The first 5 minutes compared to this.
It's fine. I was like, all right, it's picked up. There's things happening.
As long as you don't lose this sense of fun, we're going to be okay.
I agree.
And I'm thankful to say it, for the most part, keeps it up. Well, that pizza shop owner, Tino, who's a really funny character.
Yeah.
A good
he's got a great look to him. He's got good timing.
Yeah, really good. I liked him. Like I said, he only helped Steve out in exchange for retrieving his stolen car. The problem is it was stolen by the biggest drug dealer on the beach, a big-time gang leader they call Spider with a Y, Spyder. He's so badass, he once killed a Starbucks employee because they wrote Spider with an I. He killed the guy. We know this because John tells us in voiceover. Steve manages to sneak into Spider's party house by disguising himself as a pizza delivery guy who has to use the bathroom. But when he finally gets in the garage and tries to start up Tino's classic car, it's been totally tricked out with hydraulics. And like a La Cucaracha plays whenever you turn stuff. He can't get the damn thing going.
By the way, Spider is played by...
I'm going to get to that in a minute. So he's flipping all the switches. It's going crazy. It alerts the Mexican gangsters that he's in there.
Hey, Spider, someone's trying to steal your car,
Holmes. Can we do that voice?
Well, we're just doing the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is almost... The Mexican gang is, in fact, almost a caricature.
Basically,
it's a caricature.
They're doing it so we can do it.
Yeah.
We can do it, Holmes.
Yeah, Holmes. Yeah.
Steve smashes through the garage door and takes off.
Did y'all ever see the movie Stand and Deliver?
Yeah.
Edward James Olmos.
Sure.
What's his name? Lou Diamond Phillips' character. I'm pretty sure the director just said, "Go watch that guy and then repeat every line like him."
Don't you know I'm loco?
Yeah, man. What is calculus?
Well, he busts through the garage door in this car. He finally gets it going. They're shooting their guns at him. And
he sideswipes other cars. He smashes through stuff.
He smashes into every other car on the street to get away.
Beautiful car that he just...
but he gets away. As Tut mentioned, Spider is played by Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa.
Khal Drogo
of Game of Thrones fan. Boy, for a straight-to-video flick...
And also of the crappy Conan remake.
Correct. I was going to leave that out. For a straight-to-video flick, every role in this thing is like somebody.
Yeah, I was really surprised about that.
It's got a very, very...
I mean, I only knew about...
Like, this is before they were big. This is this year.
Yeah. I mean, and this was, I the only three I knew going into it, which he hasn't been introduced yet, but just those two alone right now on screen, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, those two huge actors right now.
And the funny thing is that when I first saw MoMA in this, I was like, all right, here's where we're going. This is... I like MoMA.
You thought he was going to be serious, take the role seriously, and try to be like a gangster?
Yeah, and I mean, I like MoMA. I like him a lot, but I was like, no, man, he's going to try to straight this, and this is a comedy. This is fun, and I'm glad I was wrong.
Me too, and I think I had the same gut instinct to you. The guy's not known for his comedic chops. Well, speaking of big names, Steve leaves a heartbroken Tino. He can't believe the condition his bullet-ridden, smashed-up car's in. And he skateboards over. He's still got the skateboard. Skateboards over to Dave Jones' surf shop, which is run by Steve's lifelong best friend and skating buddy, Dave Jones.
My man.
Played by John Goodman. Well, as luck would have it, Dave's working late. He just finished up sanding Steve's new surfboard. So instead of sleep, these two old friends hit the waves. We join them out at the beach. Of course, we don't see them surfing.
Ooh, you see him sitting on a surfboard.
We see John Goodman sitting on a surfboard. They couldn't find a double for that. What's the gig? We want you to be John Goodman surfing.
Oh, come on, man.
Sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins.
But you know what? I totally bought, and this is where I started to warm up to Willis, because that scene with him in the surf shop with Dave's going through a divorce and he's kind of out of it. I was like, holy shit, like Willis. But you know why?
There was a smile that he gave.
But you know why?
Why?
Yes, there was a smile he gave.
Well, the smile sold me. I was like, I believe that these guys are friends.
It's because Goodman and Bruce grew up. They were young actors in New York City together before moonlighting. They used to audition together. they used to party together. When Bruce Willis was a bartender, Goodman would come in and hang out at his bar all night. They are lifelong best friends. They've been friends since the 80s. And it so shows in these scenes. I kind of equate it to, you know how comfortable Stallone and Arnold are in their scenes? These two guys that have just kind of known each other and busted each other's balls for years. It's even more so that because Willis and Goodman knew each other before they were anything. The first time I ever saw John Goodman was on Moonlighting. Bruce got him a kind of stand-up role on an episode of Moonlight. I mean, these are old friends, and man, it just shows.
I didn't know that
comfortableness between the two.
I didn't know that history, but now knowing that history, it makes perfect sense. Because there was an effortlessness with them two on the same screen that I was very comfortable with.
But it was Willis actually acting and working at it, and
well, I think
it's not like he's on the screen with Kelvin Lutz or some young actor who
First
really
of all,
doesn't
Goodman
give a
knows
shit about.
his shit.
He's not going.
And Goodman brings shit.
Goodman brings it every time, and he's not going to half-ass it. Man, it was just a good little scene. It was a believable little scene.
You know, I mean, with the history that Goodman has put out here in the last few years with overcoming alcoholism and everything like that. Every role that I have seen him in previously, he's really just kind of knocked it out of the park. I mean, I love he gets on screen and that's his scene.
I love Goodman, whether it's the bigger than life character of Oh Brother Where Art Thou, Big Dan Teague. Love him in that. Even when he's like the comedic sidekick in that crappy love story, Almost Something, with Richard Dreyfuss when they're like
always
fighter pilots or something
always,
like that.
Always.
To his work at 10 Cloverfield Lane where he plays that.
I heard he was
kind of
really
weird
good
guy.
in that.
Oh, he was great in that.
He was actually really good in
Treme, the first season when he was in that.
Kevin Smith's first attempt at horror, Red State. He played an FBI agent.
Red State, that's correct.
He was the only. Well, him and Michael Parks were really good.
He had a small part in that Wahlberg film, The Gambler.
Yeah, bad guy, right?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't really a bad guy. He played like a loan shark guy.
Yeah.
But his character in that was just, you just felt it like that was him.
That's why I think you see Willis acting in this one, because
I really think it made Willis back up into.
I agree. You
game.
play to your competition, and on screen, even though they're friends, that's still competition. You don't want to be showed up by your buddy.
Yeah.
So now it's interesting because as we go forward, Goodman confused me a lot. Yes. I didn't know
he made some choices.
Thank you, because I spent most of the film saying, now, is this a choice, or am I seeing Goodman kind of...
Hold that thought. We're going to come back to Goodman later, and we'll talk about it.
Okay. By the way, look at that.
He's still rocking that ash. Holy smokes, look at that thing.
Oh.
It's a good time, now that we're starting the next morning here after a crazy start to the story. How are you feeling?
I'm liking it. There's actually a little bit of pepper on the retro hill.
Midway through, pepper came back.
Yeah. So it's kind of nice. It's kind of got some nice little transitions there. Not drastic. I mean, it's not swinging profile.
But you got to love it when something
it's complimentary.
Was there and then it reemerges.
Exactly.
Same with you, Yax. Did you get that pepper come back?
Oh, yes.
I have to say that there's a subtleness in Willie's blend on this that, I haven't really seen before in a Willie cigar. Now, I'm a big fan of the Norteños, but I love the Norteños because of that Ligero profile and that strength that just kicks you in the teeth the entire way. But it's not a variant cigar. There's not a lot of switches to that profile as you go down the cigar.
Correct.
This has a lot of nuance that good job, Willie.
You and I picked up a lot of nuance in the Undercrown Sungrown that you were a little harder getting to. I am not a fan of the Herrera Steli, his namesake, the first blend he did. I like the Lancero. It's a good cigar. It's out of the D catalog. It's not one I go to.
Right.
So that was kind of Willie's first big push into my world.
Right, it was the Herrera.
I am just every Norteño I have, I like it more and more.
Yeah.
Recently got a box.
Oh, I love the Norteño.
The extra Coronas. But man, this is nuanced between the cream, the in-and-out pepper.
Still got that breadiness there.
You got the breadiness.
I mean,
I'm still getting a salty
peanuts.
I tell you what, it's nice for once not to have a big woodsy component of a cigar.
Oh, damn.
And
Ash finally dropped.
Drop that ash.
It was good while it lasted.
But do you guys agree for the first time in a long time, there's no woodsy component to this thing?
Correct.
Usually we always
like I
have
said, when I started, it was
the leather,
I had just a sweet like earthiness, but no, it wasn't.
no cedar, no
nothing like
hickory,
that.
no. There's not. There is a natural sweetness, but boy, it's really overpowered by that cream, and the nut and the, like you said, the breadiness. But man, that pepper. It could get boring, but then that pepper midway kicked back in.
I'm really surprised that I'm picking the bread out of this, and not only the bread as just a sample flavor coming through there, but actually a foundation flavor.
Yeah,
there's times where I'm retrohaling and it's like I'm in a freaking bakery. It's nice.
It is nice. Who doesn't like
bakery?
Who doesn't like bakeries?
It's like a Czech bakery, by the way.
Those are the best bakeries. It's like smoking a kolache.
More like a klobasnicki.
Did he say that right?
Yes.
Oh. Boom! Sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins.
Do you like sweet raisin kolache at klobasnickis?
I would love a sweet raisin. Actually, a sweet raisin, that would be technically a kolache.
Yes. That would be a kolache, yeah. Klobasnicki is a kolache with meat, correct?
Correct. Sausage jalapeno.
Oh. Remember that road trip we took? You, me, and some others. And we stopped at it was at West to get the kolaches, and they had the pepperoni kolache.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was to my wedding, my first wedding.
Yeah.
In Dallas.
Yeah, I think so. And, it was terrible. But I had two of them, and I really wanted one of, we took one of the bartenders from the pub, Nada, with us, and she had two regular sauce. I'm like, man, this pepperoni is so good. I did the old Tom Sawyer painting the fence. Like, I sure would never share these with anybody. All right, Nada, if you want to trade a pepperoni for it's filled with just tomato sauce. It was just terrible. And as soon as she traded me. She took it by. I was like, you fucking asshole. This klobasnicki is total shit. Meanwhile, I was like, sweet raisins. I will say this. I do have a verdict on the method of drinking the Brixton Mash Destroyer.
Okay.
Chilled. I had it with ice.
Man, I'm a fan of the neat.
I had it neat. Try it chilled. You still get all the flavors from the neatness, but man, it's just it. I do like that chilled factor to it. Very, very, and man, it is just accompanying the cigar. I was worried that the rum and the bourbon might be just a 1-2 punch.
They're playing it great.
But I mean, this isn't a powerful cigar. It doesn't have a chance if this thing was overpowering. It's not.
Man, ever since I went to the neat, they're playing nicely together.
I'm always concerned, especially like when we do have liquor, because it can end up being so sweet that the cigar just ends up kind of losing out to that.
Well, like I'm a fan of Basil Hayden's, but you get a lot of buttery sweetness off of that, to where it almost like coats your lips on the aftertaste of it.
Yeah,
to where it definitely influences just about every cigar.
We have to be careful with what we do, because I mean, there's been a lot of probably really good cigars that we just like. I think with the undercrown
with the
Sungrown,
the blood orange. Yeah,
Tuttle couldn't get past that blood work orange. That blood orange IPA was just killing his taste buds, and it didn't bother us. We were getting all these flavors that he wasn't getting.
Yeah.
As soon as he cut off that beer, all of a sudden he started getting
introduced.
You got
to
to keep that in mind. Yeah. But to me, this liquor's not going to kill anything. I think you could drink this with a Connecticut and not a good Connecticut, like a Rose of Sharon or an Undercrown Shade, and you'd be fine.
Yeah,
it's a good morning bourbon rum mash, a breakfast mash.
A breakfast mash?
Yes.
If you're going to drink hard liquor first thing in the morning, this is when it's morning drinking time. Make it Brixton Mash Destroyer time. Do you think? JD's gonna hire me for some spots.
Oh God!
Put me in a leather chair.
I hope not.
It's entirely possible.
When it's drinking in your child's carpool line time, make it Brixton Mash Destroyer time.
There's the Slato police.
Oh shit! Sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins.
How did you find me? You're sitting in the parking lot in the leather-bound chair.
Here, honey.
Where's my
hold it.
car?
Here, honey. Hold
Oh,
this.
great. Now he's running away down the railroad tracks butt naked.
What would you do when the police are after you?
Oh, I love my life. Well, Steve has to cut the surfing adventures with his buddy Dave short as he goes to pick up his beloved dog Buddy from his sister Katie's house. She and her teenage daughter Taylor really like Buddy's company now that Katie's husband, Taylor's dad, has split to Australia to find himself. They're kind of lost, you know. Mom's 50 and suddenly single. Taylor's a good student, good kid, but her dad's gone. 52.
Wow.
Geez, what man would ever leave Famke Jensen?
Especially when she's looking like that.
Oh, dude.
Holy smokes, is it me or she got better with age?
She
She's
is.
the best she's ever looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She, of course, is known as what, Jean Grey from
Jean Grey from the
X-Men.
X-Men movies.
Been in a million things.
She was from the Pierce Brosnan, James Bond, Zydia Onatop. One of my favorites. GoldenEye.
A lot of vagina. Gosh, she looked amazing here.
She did. 50. Wow.
52.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, though, a very small role that could have been played by anybody. She's in the movie for like a total of 4 minutes.
Yeah, she's like in literally 2 scenes, maybe 3
Anybody
scenes.
could have played that role, but they got fucking Famke Jensen. Like, this movie.
Who's behind this?
Nobody. I have an answer to why this movie has the cast that it does.
Huh.
Steve's next stop that morning is the coffee shop where he meets up with Lou the Jew.
Maybe they were actually like, look, Bruce really needs this.
He's going to try this time. Well, he said that to us before. But he's really going to try on this one. Well, next up, Steve goes to the coffee shop to meet up with Lou the Jew.
That's not us.
Younger John's voiceover tells us it's not prejudice, it's not offensive to call him that because he calls himself that. But Lou the Jew is miserly, but not in a Jewish way. These voiceovers.
His last name is Jewinski.
I'm thinking at this point, you know what? I'm not a fucking dunce. I really don't need you telling me like stuff, John.
But that's not the point. The point is like with a lot of like those early detective shows, they all had that.
I guess, but they
I mean,
filled
come
in.
on,
They
Magnum-
filled in holes. This guy is just explaining shit we're seeing on screen. Everything he says, like this guy was a drug dealer, a pimp. We see that. We don't need you to tell me that.
But that's like Magnum, man.
I think
Magnum
this guy-
PI did that.
Well, yeah, but Magnus was like,
Awesome.
yeah, but I mean, he also like would identify like characters.
Yeah.
That he'd give you that little quick.
Some insight that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Right.
This guy gives us just superficial shit that we get throughout the story.
But I think because I mean, he started out, in the very beginning. I think his little voiceovers are supposed to be comedic.
Yeah.
But they're trying to explain
And
things.
they fall flat. Yeah.
In other words,
They're not comedic at all.
And it's so random when he comes in. Like,
Yeah.
I'll forget that he was even in the movie, and all of a sudden he's talking to me like from the heavens.
Yeah. And one of the things that does kind of disassociate with, like, all the voiceovers that I like are usually,
The main character.
They're main character narratives.
This is a side character narrative.
Right. So it's like, am I watching this or am I being told this?
It's confusing.
So yeah.
That's kind of where I was going.
Okay.
Did y'all like the scene between Steve and the barista in the coffee shop? He walks in with his dog Buddy,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and the barista says, "No dogs allowed. Sorry." And Bruce Willis looks at his dog. Oh, him? Yeah, he's all right. And the barista says, "What does that mean?" And Steve says, "Oh, that's just something I say sometimes when I'm trying to circumvent the rules. Sometimes it works. Not now." And the guy's like, "No."
I did
It was a funny
like
little
that. I
scene.
did like that.
It was kind of a funny little,
Yeah.
and Willis gave it a little bit of something, like it worked.
Yeah.
I like those throwaway moments, but I felt a pulse in Willis, damn it. So I grabbed onto it.
Well, it's interesting because I mean he's basically playing like a a young, spirited, but cantankerous old guy, so it's very believable coming from Willis at this age.
Well, he's got a young wife. You know, he's a guy in his 60s who has a couple kids, my kid's age. Like, you know, he is kind of at that stage of his life where he kind of has to betray his age, and I think maybe that played into this a little bit. Maybe he brought some of the playfulness.
I don't know. I think that you've got
whatever he
you've
channeled,
got so many good
whatever he fucking channeled. He needs to bottle that and spray it on him before his other movies.
I think that he's got so many good actors.
That could be too. They're like, you know what? We're going to get Willis, but we're going to stack the deck against him with really good actors where he can't.
But at the same time, he's still kind of phoned in Expendables.
Oh, he's walked through a lot of shit with good actors. I don't know what it was about this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe they just caught him on a good month.
Good.
This is the newest thing from him, though, so maybe we'll see a new Willis come out of this. Maybe he'll listen to this podcast and get inspired. He'll be like, sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins.
I've been doing it all wrong.
Oh, man, if he comes out with a sweet raisins line in his next one, I'm not even going to copyright that. Willis, go for it.
Well, he does meet up with Lou the Jew, played by Tut.
I don't know the actor's name. He's in a lot of the 80s stuff.
He's in your favorite movie of all time.
Hiding Out.
Dazed and Confused.
Oh, Dazed and Confused, yeah. Male dominant monkey motherfucker.
I want to dance.
I just want to dance.
Adam Goldberg.
Adam Goldberg.
Now he wears
Was
shades.
he in Hiding Out?
That was John Cryer.
Was it John
Or
Cryer?
James Spader.
No, that was John
That
Cryer.
was John Cryer.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I get them confused. They all look alike.
Adam Goldberg. But he wears shades and a hat.
Yeah.
He's older, obviously. I was going to give you a pass if you didn't recognize him. Lou
One of his most notable films, The Hebrew Hammer.
The Hebrew Hammer, definitely.
Well, he wants to hire Steve to track down
Kate's never seen The Hebrew Hammer.
I just played along. I'd never heard of it, no. I have Jewish relatives. It's not because of that. He wants to hire Steve to track down the graffiti artist who's been tagging his apartment complexes he owns with lewd pornographic images of clowns doing him doggy style.
This guy is an artist.
Literally, on the side of an apartment building, it's a clown with a cartoon depiction of Adam
Wheelbarrowing
him. He's so desperate to stop these spray painting weirdos that he'll sell Steve his old parents' house back.
Well, he's got a bunch of Chinese investors that are looking to buy that building.
Yeah, he's got to stop the graffiti if the investor's going to buy. But he actually bought up Steve's parents' house real cheap. Now all the Silicon Valley guys are coming in. He'll sell it back to Steve at a considerable discount if he can find these graffiti guys.
Now, 10% over what he paid for.
Correct. But first things first, Steve sends John out to investigate the graffiti scene. He's tasked with helping his friend. Go ahead. Sorry.
What? There was one scene here where they're talking, making their little deal, and for no reason whatsoever,
David Arquette
walking down the sidewalk
bumps into Bruce Willis.
Taylor Swift saved music industry, and I'm like,
we're getting the band back together, bro. And that's That's it. With that, David
I
Arquette,
have no idea.
That takes my what's this movie thinking with the casting too? And then
I get the feeling like they're trying to shoot these scenes, and like other actors are walking by, and they just
hey, David Arquette, get over here.
What am I doing? David Arquette, you're not doing anything. Come here.
And it just, I was like, I thought, okay,
I haven't seen David Arquette since Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, holy crap, David Arquette. Yeah. And that was it.
He never comes back.
No, that was it.
It was weird, yeah.
I thought maybe he would, you was one of those characters you see, and they literally tell you, who was that? I have no fucking clue.
It made no sense. It shouldn't have been in the movie. It shouldn't have been anybody playing that role. It made no sense.
And this is one of those things where, like, I started thinking, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I was like, is this
where it falls?
This film gave me that feeling, like, all of a sudden it's leading up, and there's wait a second. Is this going to pull a Hudson Hawk on me here? Is it? Started getting like that feeling, like that's what it was going to do. I was like, oh shit.
Well, does it? Stay tuned. Well, first things first, as I said, Steve sends John out to find the graffiti artist, while Steve is tasked with helping his old friend Dave, John Goodman, confront his estranged wife at a cafe who's demanding he sign their divorce papers right away. Dave wears a wire and an earpiece as Steve coaches him from a nearby car. Him and Buddy, the dog, are in a convertible nearby.
And
man, this is where Tut. I'm sure this is where you're talking about. It is a weird scene, mainly because of the way Goodman plays Dave. He is so out of it. He's entirely disconnected from everything as he's sitting there with his soon-to-be ex-wife. Steve's advice in his ear he's ignoring. Every time his wife talks to him, he hears a song from his past. He can't even hear what she's saying. Reality in general, he's completely checked out of. And it's almost like he's doing the Willis in all the other movies.
Exactly.
I just don't know what I'm doing here in this movie. And
it was almost like I was there. I was like, is he walking through this? But I know Goodman's never walked through anything as far as I'm concerned. And then I'm like, no. All right, so you've got an ex-surfer dude whose claim to fame is, surfing for like 10 hours straight naked because he was on LSD. So maybe it was because
they do say John does give us a voiceover that's might be useful. Dave Jones, John Goodman, his legend in Venice is he surfed naked down the boardwalk for 10 hours straight on acid. And
then I was thinking, all right,
is he just gone?
Yeah, he's an ex-hippie stoner.
That's a good point. I never actually thought about that.
So this is actually a choice that Goodman is making.
Because we've known people that have done too much acid that were never the same afterwards.
Correct.
I never actually thought about that. Which that could have been an angle that Goodman latched onto.
I think that is.
But once again, I think
this
that thing could have done better had they introduced it back when we first met him.
Well, he was still kind of out of it in the surf shop, but that was more of a my life is falling apart.
Right. Yeah, but I think if they'd done that voiceover back then, saying like Dave was like he
was the acid head, like he's just,
and so like you would have context in as opposed to like now you're seeing the scene and he tells, and then you get the voiceover.
That, and I also think that he didn't want to go Lebowski on it because he didn't want to create the dude. So he was like,
I took it by the end of this scene as, because I respect Goodman as an actor, this poor bastard, his character, is in the midst of losing everything. She's taking his surf shop. She's taking his home. This is his way of playing it, just a guy who's in the midst of losing everything, and in the process, losing a grasp on
but it's also
reality.
But I also think
which is a bold fucking choice.
It's also like, where he gives up basically everything. He has the chance, Willis is saying, don't sign the papers.
Don't sign the papers. Keep the surf.
She even says,
all right, you can keep the surf shop.
And he's like, he goes full martyr, and it's like, you know what? I bet you something that would show her how much I love her. I love you so much. I just want you to be happy. You can have everything.
And Willis is in the car like, but what does he say every time that Goodman fucks up?
It'll be good. It'll be all right. He just says that to everybody.
I'll be here for you.
It'll be all right.
It'll be fine. I'll be here.
Because he told that to Jean Grey when she was like on the steps.
Sister.
Like,
when she's like, my husband's left me. We're going to have to get kicked out of this house. It'll be okay.
All right.
It'll be fine. I get a lot of shit in my life for being that guy. I'm not to go into specifics.
What, it'll be all right? Oh, I always say
it'll be okay.
I'll bitch about everything to high heaven, but at the end,
when
I'm
it's
like,
my shit. It's important. It's like world's burning. But when it's someone else's shit, that'll be okay. It'll be all right. I'll be here for you. What does that do for me? You'll be here, drunk. Yeah. Better than I'm not here, right?
Exactly.
If you don't want me here, I'll leave. You have control over one thing: me being here. But you know what? By the end of the film, I think it worked. He actually created a character. I said I don't like esotericness. I don't like too much, like, I can't figure this shit out. Yeah. But by the end of this film, he had created a character that somehow worked.
After a while, I realized it was a choice, and then I could latch on to it. And it worked.
But this scene was just bizarre.
It really kind of was.
But you know what? I think we've all been there now that at our age, where friends have been in the doldrums.
No.
The lowest of lows, and you see them in a place where they're just kind of like.
And keep in mind, man, this guy's like in his 60s. This
losing everything.
How do you start over again in your 60s?
So you know what? having listened to Goodman talk about his process a little bit on Howard, he did a really good Howard Stern interview last year about his process. I think he maybe took all of it into consideration.
Yeah.
The acid background, how that might affect your demeanor a little bit.
Yeah.
Having lost, it was a young wife, so it wasn't like they were married for 30 years. She was much younger than him. But I think it was just like, what do you do when you're in your 60s and you have a business and a home and it's taken away from you? And it's like, dude, your 60s in poor health, the idea of starting over
It's a non-starter.
can literally just rattle your brain so much to where you are this character. You're just kind of like making no sense. And
you've done a crap ton of acid in the 70s.
Yeah, I think Goodman knew what he was doing.
I think so. Yeah.
I dig it because it really works in the end.
Yeah.
It does.
Which is, again, him bringing it. Willis has to step up, and I think it can work.
So as long as Bruce Willis only does movies with John Goodman, we'll be all right.
And I'm not going to complain about that one bit.
Die Hard 6. It's him and John Goodman jumping off a building.
Well, they're body doubles.
I can't believe we got sewed together at the hip. They're like Siamese twins. Those terrorists. Well, that night, Steve falls asleep while parked outside the Lou the Jew's apartment building, staking it out for the graffiti artist. And when he wakes up, because he hadn't slept in days, there's a giant painting now on the building of Lou the Jew sucking Skeletor's dick from He-Man. And to add insult to injury, the graffiti artist spray painted a big blue dot on the top of Steve's bald head, just to rub his face in it. Later that day, Nola, the Samoan beauty from earlier in the film, shows back up at Steve's apartment naked, and they start fooling around again. He didn't learn his lesson the first time with those brothers.
Well, he did try and tell her, look, you can't be here right now. And
she takes her top off. The only nudity in the film.
Yeah.
I mentioned that because I want to talk about that later. But suddenly his little niece Taylor calls to tell Steve that their house was burglarized. The thieves took everything, her TV, her Xbox, and Buddy the dog.
And this is where he stops. What?
A furious Steve starts canvassing the area. Yeah, boy, did I use canvassing?
You did indeed.
He talks to a nearby liquor store clerk who says it was two stoners who lived down on the beach. Oh, by the way, the liquor store clerk was played by Cal Penn from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Again, you could have got
a small
nobody to $10 an hour to play that role.
How? And I was just like, why? Because like I said, I knew about 3 people in this movie: Willis, Goodman, Momoa. That was it.
I really think that the casting agent is like, look, Bruce needs this. Come on, guys.
And I honestly think these guys were walking down the street when they were shooting these scenes.
I think they all live around there.
Hey, is that Bruce Willis over there? Wait, Cal Penn, back there, third guy on the right. Get him.
I'd love to find out how this, maybe that's the future of the show is to having these guys on and, producer or director and tell, hey, how? Why? Answer us. Sweet raisins, give us some answers.
Sweet raisins, give us answers.
Well, Cal Penn tells him it was two stoners. They lived down on the beach, and man, they're seriously, between David Arquette and Cal Penn, it's just mind-boggling. Well, Steve tracks down the two druggies who stole Buddy, but he starts kicking their ass. But they tell him they already handed off the dog to their drug dealer, Spider.
Uh-oh.
Never fuck with a man's dog, Steve barks as he storms off. Did you get that? Steve barks?
Ah.
I'm gonna make a note that didn't go over like I thought it would.
Notes of failure.
Well, so now would be an obvious place to bring up the elephant in the room, because the synopsis for this film concentrates on the dog. A detective loses his dog and is hell-bent on getting it. You immediately think John Wick. That's the elephant in the room.
That's where all the YouTube comments on the trailer
That is
focused.
the most inaccurate synopsis. It is not a burnout detective hell-bent on finding his dogs. He is not...
I think they were trying to give you something relatable, like John Wick,
Yeah.
he lost his dog.
Well, man,
now no
a
one
man
can
bent
stop him.
on hellfire revenge for his lost dog seems to be a new subgenre. Remember History or a Valley of Violence with Ethan Hawke, John Wick. Like there's this whole new guy. what do we do here?
Well, I
Make him
think
take his dog.
as a marketer, you can't say this is going to be a cool movie because Bruce Willis is in it anymore. After the last 10 movies, you can't do that.
Well, they like John Wick's dog.
John Wick was
taken.
John Wick was very popular,
But-
so I think they were trying to tap
But
into that
let
demo.
me say this: it surprisingly did not bother me here at all, because the tone of this film is so different than these other films.
Yeah.
And yes, they should have made it as Hamster or something. You know, they took his hamster. They shouldn't. They could have made it another pet.
I'm approaching this a little bit different because I haven't seen John Wick. I read all the comments on there, and they were just. I mean, YouTube is an unkind place, and they were just bashing the crap out of this.
John Wick loses his dog and literally kills thousands of people just in a bloodthirsty revenge. That's not this movie.
No,
He
not at
punches a
all.
hole in the wall and pulls out a Gatling gun and starts just killing everybody. I mean, it just...
It totally not this movie,
No.
and it's not intended to be this movie.
No.
Which again, I just wish he'd been like, they took your guinea pig, Steve. I love that guinea pig. Anything else? They took your goldfish.
Bubbles. Damn you.
So Steve, to get his dog back, takes a gift basket of freshly baked muffins over to Spider's house, where he stole the car a few nights earlier.
And I love that
the cronies are
I
just
love
now
that they're
hammering up.
hammering up on the guy. And he's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?"
They're hammering the garage door that he drove through with boards. Hey, what's up, guys? He walks past him with the muffins, knocks on the door, gives Spider the muffins. He can't believe that this gringo is stepped back in here.
balls, Holmes.
He's enjoying the muffins, though. There's a touch of cinnamon in there, Holmes. Yo.
Hey, bro.
What is this
There's a
again?
little
It's
cinnamon in there?
banana nut. It's a hint of cinnamon.
A little hint of cinnamon,
And
yo.
it's got all,
And
these
all his
tough,
henchmen.
all of his tough gangbangers
eating-
in behind and just eating
And they're
these
holding
muffins.
Buddy. Buddy's eating a muffin. But they have Steve tied to a chair. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're not going to let him get away
Well,
with it.
the thing I love here is like, everyone else is like, let's fucking kill this dude. And
He
is
brought
it-
muffins.
Spider's character, I want to hear him out. I want to hear
Hold
this
on
guy out.
1 second, Holmes.
Because this guy stole from me, and now he brings back. He comes in here.
Well, he stole from me bringing me a pizza. Because while he's still in the car, the guy's Spider's eating the pizza.
Yeah.
And now he comes back. This guy's got balls, Holmes. But he got these muffins.
He's got muffins.
It is
What
funny.
guy- what
Steve
guy-
also tells him the story of his little niece and everything.
How much
and-
the dog means to him. But meanwhile, he's in this chair getting beat the shit out of by the thugs. At one point, Steve breaks free. Might be my favorite scene in the movie. At one point, Steve breaks free from his chair and leaps out the living room window for freedom. But he leaps out this glass window and knocks himself unconscious, and he falls flat on the. It's a one-story house. He falls flat on the yard, and he's out cold. And one of the guys is like, "He knocked himself out, Holmes. I've never seen that before."
What I love more than anything else is you think it's one of the scenes where all of a sudden he's gonna
Jump
start
up and start shooting.
like kicking ass and like big fight scene. No, he just knocks himself out. Like just
They just drag his tired ass back in the house and start over again. The next scene, he's tied back up and the window's broken. It's such a good scene. Oh God, it's
it
good.
is one of those where this is where I start like this really is making me happy because it's like the things that you're expecting from the
Yeah.
normal Willis thing, like you've tied me to a chair. You don't
No,
hit,
like when he
I
was
wanted him to look over at one of the henchmen. Don't fucking touch me, get or I'll kill you.
When he was unconscious on the ground, he like had his head like this. I was like, all right, the minute they grab him, they drag him back. He's gonna turn around and like, no,
He was really knocked out.
yo, he knocked himself out, yo.
Oh,
Oh,
Holmes.
that was funny shit. Well, it turns out when he comes to, they punch him a couple more times and wake him up. Spider does have Buddy, and he'll sell him back to Steve for $4,000, and he needs it in cash 24 hours. At first he says $3,000, but then he factors in the broken living room window and the garage door.
And the
that he
garage
broke.
door.
Well, Holmes, and he'll throw the dog in for free. This is just the damages to his house. Spider has a logic he goes by. I like it.
And plus, Moma in this role is just, you can tell he's having fun with it, man.
He's having fun, but it's very low key. Like he didn't have to do much. But I haven't seen enough of the guy to.
Well, to give you a hint on Moma, it's like he's this big muscular dude. So like every role he gets is like, all right, flex in every scene. I need you to flex in
He
every
was
damn
actually kind of
scene.
soft in this movie.
No, he was. He was just there in the stereotypical headband and the white beater shirt, just having fun.
he does a really good job with it. And that whole scene with Willis and the gangsters was just good. It was funny. Real quick, I want to. We're all in the last third of this thing. The pepper has stayed.
Yeah,
It has.
strength picks up a little bit in that last third too, to where it's definitely present on it.
Cream is the only thing I've had 100% all the way through. Whether the pepper has come and gone, whether the salted peanuts or the breadiness is there. It's always there, but differing powers. The cream for me is always that coffee note was gone in the first third, but man, it's a creamy cigar with a lot of interacting flavors, and then that pepper. Just when I thought we were only going to get on the retrohale, came back, and it's kind of stayed. It's an interesting fucking cigar.
It is. It's really, really good. I'm a fan of the Unico series. I love the UF13. I love the Liga 9s.
The dark stuff.
The dark, the Lajero just... Oh, but this...
I said this with the sun.
Man, I'm almost saying that this is probably one of my favorite DE sticks. I kind of feel like I'm betraying the 9 and the 13, but it's good.
I said with the Undercrown Sungrown, it filled a void in the Undercrown line between the Shade and the Maduro. It brought flavors that weren't there in that line. It kind of filled that middle territory.
Yeah.
Boy, this brings something to the DE catalog.
It's outside of what the normal DE catalog is, which is great. I mean, if you're trying to have a very versatile line,
But these days with Drew Estate, you have the barrel fermented type Kentucky Fire Cured line of things, which includes the first Pappy release. You have the Undercrowns, which is and the Herrera Stellis, which are the traditional smokes.
Yeah.
And then you have, the acids, and then you have the Ligas, which are the power hitters, the dark.
Yeah.
Some less so, the L40 and the T52, a little bit less so. This is a nuanced cigar unlike anything I think I've had from Drew Estate. Is that what you're saying too?
Yeah, that's absolutely what I'm saying.
Well,
and like I said, the nuances from Willie as a blender itself, I really dig that. And I'm surprised to learn that this was like one of his early blends.
Yeah. Do we want to talk price point?
I kind of know the price point, so I can't really guess it.
For our listeners, it needs to be talked about. It is a special cigar.
Yeah.
Are you kind of what it is?
I do not.
Oh, well, we're not going to do the guessing game this time, because I think that would be a fool's exercise, if you will. These come available in 10-count boxes for $246, which comes in at $24.60 a cigar, if my math is correct. And I've drank.
Well, I was going to be off. I was going to say like 15.
$24. Not unheard of by any means in the premium cigar world. Opus often get up into the 20s.
They get into the 30s.
They get up into the 30s. A lot of premium cigars get up there.
I will say this:
the Padrones have $50 cigars.
I don't want to pay $26 for a cigar. I just don't. There's a lot of interesting cigars out there that are under that price point. At the same time, I've had quite a few Opus X at this point, and
we've shared Opus X's at this price point that have
underperformed,
left us
that have been
underwhelmed,
not even close to this cigar.
Correct. Long cigars,
exactly, and then not even performed half as well as what I've enjoyed on this cigar. This is a tremendously enjoyable cigar.
You could spend $20 on a lap dance, on 2 lap dances that'll last you a total of 5-6 minutes. This is $4 more for a cigar that lasts well over an hour.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it in the context of relativeness.
Stuff that only Cade knows about. I do not know about.
Well, I mean, let's put it in a booze context. You get a let's say you get 2 fingers of Johnny Walker Blue Label. What does that run you?
We were probably gonna do it, Johnny Walker. We'd probably be charging you easily for 2 fingers of it, at least $50.
$50, and we drink that in 20 minutes.
Easily.
I'm trying to relate the experience. We
Yeah.
smoked that for an hour.
we would give people a shot of that, and some people would just shoot it straight up, like it was just a cheap bourbon.
Yeah.
And you're like, because we've had people do that.
Young Paul style.
You literally give them a wonderful scotch. They shoot it and like, oh, that was so good. How? How was that good? You didn't taste anything.
I'm going to call out our young cohort. We have a you'll know him from our short film Hipster.
You played Pawkins.
Pawkins. Youngster. 20s.
Youngster.
And last week we were at the pub celebrating Yak Boy's birthday. We had that delicious Balvenie Caribbean cask. Is it 12-year? 14-year Caribbean cask Scotch. Nada delivered our drinks. We were all sniffing.
We were all getting the nose
and
of this.
just getting swimming in the aura of the Scotch. Done. Shot it. And
this is great.
We all looked at him like,
what did you just do?
Was I not supposed to shoot it? Well, the first clue was it was in a glass this big. It's not a shot glass. God bless.
Literally,
he's young. He's young.
Everybody, literally, there's a circle of 10 guys just swirling, and we were all looking at him like, what?
But to go to my point, you spend $50. Let's go 1 finger of Blue Label, which will last you 20 minutes. Somebody 20 minutes. Won't last me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You're going to pay $25 for that, the price of this cigar. I mention that because this cigar has associated itself with a fine speed. This is the Pappy Van Winkle Tradition cigar. To charge $24 for something that's going to give you an hour of what you've described as one of the best cigars you've had in quite some time.
Yeah.
I have a hard time arguing against that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it like it is. We did the Drew Estate All Out Kings on our 50th episode. It was a $15 cigar, and we could not rack our brains around dropping $15 for that cigar.
Yeah.
This, I can make sense of it.
I can.
It can work for me.
Well, and I could say I might be a little hesitant to go $25 on a cigar, but
not on a Tuesday night, but on a Saturday night.
But what I'm saying
is
is
your favorite place,
a birthday cigar,
what I'm
an
saying
anniversary
is, you spend
cigar,
$25
a wedding
on a
cigar.
I wouldn't be disappointed.
This
thing has been incredibly flavorful.
An hour of your life that you won't exchange for anything, because if you have a good drink, you're going to have an hour-long
and
great
you're going to
cigar.
get a great
and not
cigar.
only that, but you can't say you're going to be disappointed. It's not like you paid a lot of money for a cigar that you're like, well, this might be rolled cardboard for all I know, because I'm not getting anything.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here now going, you know what? At least if it's flavorful, at least if it's good, I won't, maybe I'm hesitant to spend that kind of money, but I won't be upset that I spent it if I got a good cigar.
If I'm in the mood to spend some money and I'm going to buy some good scotch, or if they have a Brixton Mash on the shelf, and I know I'm going to sit out there for an hour, and I'm going to spend a decent amount on a really good spirit, and I want to pair it with something I know not only will just not coast along and pair fine but it will be a cigar that in the next day I'll be thinking about, God damn, that was a good cigar.
Yeah.
I would go to this again.
And not only that, this is a cigar I want to gift. It's a cigar that I want to give other cigar smokers that know their stuff.
That's a key. I think that's a very good point. When you can buy a cigar for somebody, a lot of people, when they give cigars to non-cigar smokers, they tend to go cheap. Well, this guy doesn't know a $2 cigar from a $10 cigar. My thought process is always, well, if you give them a phenomenal cigar, it could change their life. It could make them into a cigar smoker.
Yeah, yeah.
They could be like, holy shit, I never knew this. This is what you guys talk about every week? This is why you guys spend so much time talking about cigars? This is what it can be? This? Why not give them this as opposed to, us level down?
Yeah.
If you care about, Tut will give his other friends this.
No, I will not.
No, you're not bringing these to the fishing trip.
No. I will give one of them this because he smokes cigars. The other guys, I've given cigars, and it's just kind of like Paul shooting it, and I'm like,
it's the worst thing in the world when you give somebody a great cigar and they're just like, and they stub it out halfway through. That's terrible. It's a heartbreaking moment. I loved it, and you know what? As a special treat, and its connection to the Pappy world and the bourbon world, like, man. You walk in, like when you're traveling on business, if you've got 2 hours to spare on the client's dime, you're out of town, you're in a cigar bar, and you get a nice bourbon. There's a good ball game on.
It won't even be on the client's dime.
Well,
I'll do it. Trust me, I've plunked down
after
30
a hard day. You're out of town
because everybody knows if you go into a cigar lounge. Well, depending on the cigar lounge you go into, if you go into like the higher ones, you're going to pay almost double what the MSR is, which is outlandish to begin with. I mean, I've definitely plunked down $36 for a League of 9 at Molly's in Washington.
Ouch.
I'll plunk down that money for this because I'm in a special place. I love that. I love that lounge.
I'm really excited to tackle the second cigar. And see, what we get out of it.
Oh, it's total shit. No.
But yeah, thumbs up. It fills a nice void in the D catalog.
And I love the fact that we have 2 cigars to compare consistency with.
We don't get that a lot.
No.
So it helps us as cigar internet experts to do our jobs. Absolutely. I didn't mean to do that, but it worked. That's going to be my new catchphrase.
I like it.
Should we get back to the movie?
Why not? It's a fun ride.
Are you guys? Are you going to shift to beers at some point?
I'm shifting to beers after this.
Yeah, I'm going to finish this off. I mean, we've only got just a tiny bit left.
We've actually drained. There's just a small sampling of this left. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day on the. Well, you know what? I'll pour a little bit more.
Well, I'm just really kind of interested about this Persimmon beer.
We need to give it its just desserts. But you know what? I'm going to put this up here
because it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful bottle.
Did what's his name do the bottle design? The one that does like all their DE stuff?
No, this is not Joey. This is an actual artist. JD's a big art connoisseur. He's got a huge art collection. He actually commissioned this. I wish I had the artist's name. I don't. It's easily foundable, but the artwork is top notch, and
it's a beautiful label.
Yak Boy, you picked this up from Specs here in Texas.
Correct.
Did they have all the John Drew brands together?
They did not.
So was this in the rum or the bourbon aisle?
This was actually in the rum. They had the John Drew rye in the whiskey.
Gotcha.
They had the Dovetail rum and this in the rum aisle.
Now that I've had this, I'm going to enjoy fucking with employees of liquor stores going, describe this for me.
You know it's 45% rum, and it's in your rum department. It should be in the bourbon.
I'm just going to enjoy
it. It's got more bourbon in it. But I was like,
what's the story behind this? Why don't you tell me about
I'm sure they probably hate it because they're like, we don't have an aisle for this. We're going to put it on the end between the two.
I will say this before we move on to the beer. I'm a fan, man. I'll drink this. I definitely say chilled is the way to go.
Yes, absolutely.
No ice, no neat. I like it chilled. I really like it chilled. You still get all the flavor. God, it's good. It's refreshing. You get the bourbon. You get the rum. JD,
I like it, but it's just kind of hard to classify it.
But you know what? I mean, that's been JD's MO since.
But see, that's the thing is that I've stopped trying to classify it. I've stopped trying to figure out bourbon, rum, bourbon, Finkel, Einhorn. I just I'm enjoying it, and I like the taste of it. It's got a nice smoky feel to it, like on the aftertaste. It's not rum in terms of like hitting you with like a Captain Morgan spice.
But you know what? I mean, to put it in kind of context with what JD's done before, the coffee infused cigars. You know, I'm not an infused guy, but I can smoke a Java mint cigar like he does, or a tobacco coffee infused cigar. And, there are hints of coffee in those, but you still get the tobacco.
Right.
The guy has a history of mashing different entities together.
I call it disruption.
It's a disruption.
Yeah.
And I think that term is especially apt for what JD did to the cigar. He disrupted the cigar world.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we liked it.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming. I'm glad we didn't. Because I'd be honest with you, if I didn't like it, I'd tell you.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. I'll be buying it again. And you know what? This leads me to think maybe we could do a dovetail rum episode. Maybe we could do a John Drew rye episode.
I would be interested.
I'm especially interested in the rye.
Rye's an interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a big rye fan,
yeah.
so I'd be curious to try that. But if you watch our interview with JD on our YouTube channel, he talks about where he went to get inspiration for the rye and the different whiskey distillers he talked to. Check that interview out. It's kind of an eye opener. Cigar, booze, thumbs up. We'll switch to beer next, and let me know when you guys are ready.
Okay.
But
just hit me right now.
Back to the movie. If you're ready, then let me get you a beer. Ty, you want one?
Yeah, might as well.
Well, as long as we're pouring beers. I actually poured this earlier in our movie. I'll just go ahead and. It's like the cooking shows where they pull the
finished
thing
product
out of the oven. I already have a pint here. How convenient. We cut to Steve borrowing money from Yuri, the loan shark.
Oh my goodness!
Now this is a character.
This is a character.
Boy, Yuri, you know him from he's in the Borat movies.
Yes.
That guy, the fat.
And this guy is wearing. He's supposed to. I don't know how
it's
to.
It's like a diaper.
It is a
it's
diaper.
Like
it's supposed to be
diaper.
his skinny. But I was like, this guy is just wearing a gold diaper.
I actually misspoke earlier. I said Nola was the only breasts we see in this movie. You do see Yuri's breasts,
and they are pendulous.
They are pendulous. Oh Lord, Yakwe, are they pendulous?
They are indeed.
Oh. Well, the thing about Yuri the loan shark, he's kind of this Middle Eastern. He's walking around the beach with a metal detector. He's a very eclectic character. He's the unique loan shark where he loans you money,
but for a day.
You have 1 day to pay it back, not a week. 1 day.
And everybody keeps questioning you. Why do you do that?
So gets results, I guess. So Steve's borrowing money from Yuri. He's also getting pressured big time by Lou the Jew to stop these pornographic cartoons getting painted on the buildings. Meanwhile, John is
By the way, Adam does a good job in that role.
He does. He's very good as Lou the Jew. Meanwhile, young John is taking pictures of the graffiti, particularly Skeletor blowing. Lou the Jew blowing Skeletor. He's taking pictures of it and going around to local art galleries. He didn't get any headway in with the graffiti artists. He's taking around to art galleries,
trying to find the artist's
seeing
style.
if any of the curators recognize the style. The subtle shading around the balls, the detailed veins. When Steve takes the $4,000 he borrows from Yuri to Spider, he's told that you're out of luck. Spider tells him his girlfriend Lupe took Buddy the dog and a briefcase full of cocaine and split.
She took my cocaine, Holmes.
And the dog. But if Steve can find her, Spider's willing to pay him 3 times that money to return the cocaine.
Well, see, that's one thing I like about Steve is that he negotiates on everything. He haggles with everything. It's like, wait a minute, what's the street value of that coke? So what?
Well, you got to wonder how he's paying rent.
$34 million?
He doesn't really do a lot. He's got to make some deals.
Well, you find out that Steve doesn't have a lot of money because when he's in the convenience store, guy wants $200 to see the tape. He's got $84 in his account.
Did y'all notice when Steve calls John to tell him to go undercover at the Cowboy Bar, it's totally some other dude's voice, not Bruce Willis's on the phone?
I didn't get that.
Young John gets a call from Steve. You got to go undercover.
Yeah, I remember the scene.
It's not Bruce Willis's voice on that phone.
Oh, really?
And I'm going to mention that later. You know what? Actually, I'll mention it now. It's like they needed a few hours of sound booth time with Bruce, but couldn't afford it. Maybe if you didn't hire David Arquette and Famke Janssen, you could. So they just got some random dude to do the Bruce Willis voiceovers. And to make matters worse, they actually use it during scenes. There's some scenes where it's Bruce Willis and they cut to the camera over his shoulder, and it's another dude's voice talking.
I never caught that.
You never caught that?
No.
Oh, Yak Boy, you usually catch that stuff for me. It's inexcusable. Come on, man. It's horrible. It's another dude talking in a lot of scenes from Bruce Willis.
It's like Pool Boy.
Every scene on the phone where John is talking to Steve, it's not Bruce Willis's voice. But ultimately, I suppose it doesn't matter because, as we'll see once John walks into the Tejano bar wearing a little cowboy outfit, this movie never takes itself seriously. And I think it's completely to its benefit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Even when Steve is fired up about his missing dog, it's not done darkly or ratchet up to like John Wick levels of intensity. It just kind of does everything with a smirk on its face, and that's kind of refreshing in a way. This movie never goes heavy. It never goes serious. It's just...
It's a fun movie.
It never goes there.
They're not trying to be...
I kept waiting for it to go there, like, when they got his dog, like, is this going to go into, like, a... No, they just keep it light.
Well, it's like if you're like, all right, well, we want to do a fun project, a fun movie. Here's the rule of the project: keep it fun. All right, so we're not doing action, we're doing slapstick, right? No, we're not doing slapstick. We're keeping it fun. All right, so we're doing like comedy, action.
Well,
we're keeping it fun. It doesn't matter the genre. We're not going to put a label on it except for fun. And but that's what they do in the entire movie.
They kind of tried to make it a sort of a John Wick type thing in the trailer.
Yeah.
Because I watched that, and you see these things where he's like talking about his dog, and then you see like the scene where he's like flips over this table, and it's all guns, and he's like, I'm going to get, it's just like the dog.
That's
and all
not this movie.
What's funny is I guess because I haven't seen John Wick, I didn't have that comparison to make. I just thought that this was going to be funny. I was like, it's got Goodman in it, and he's cracking jokes. It's got MoMA in it, and he's cracking jokes. This looks fun.
Yeah. And it was. They never went there. The trailer was extremely deceiving.
Yeah. Bad marketing.
Well, good marketing maybe, but deceiving marketing. So John finds out that Lupe, the girlfriend, is hiding out at some seedy hotel. So he sends Steve over there to stake it out, while John stakes out the mysterious graffiti artist at the apartment complex. He finds out his name from an art dealer, Salvatore Lopez, who it turns out is a local legend. He's like the Banksy of Venice.
The Banksy, yeah.
According to Nola. Remember Nola, the naked Samoan chick? She shows up out of nowhere. He runs into her, and she convinces him, "Hey, can I tag along with you?"
She loves
Salvatore Lopez. Can I hang out with you on the stakeout? That'd be fun. He's a dork.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, all right, sure.
I'm sorry, hot chick wanting to hang out with me?
Okay. He can't believe that she's heard of Salvatore Lopez. He can't believe she's wanting to hang out with him. But she knows everything about Salvatore, including his masterful scrotal shadowing and the way he draws penis veins that follow your eyes around. Yak Boy, I thought you drew some very tasteful nudes of me years ago.
You would probably be mistaken.
You captured some of those same elements.
I don't think I did. Ever.
You did. It was a gift for my wife. Can you guess what Yak Boy's medium of choice is, art-wise?
I know he loves watercolor, but on this, I'm going charcoal.
Charcoal pencil, baby. That's his favorite medium.
I'm fairly decent.
You guys are like Goodman and Willis. You know each other. They were great. Your scrotal shadowing left some things to be desired.
I never did that. Ever.
Well, so Nola and John start making out in the car just as Salvatore skateboards up to Lou the Jew's apartment building to do his thing again. Once again, he's going to get away with it. John's making out with Nola. Damn it. Back at the seedy motel, Steve breaks into Lupe's room and finds Buddy the dog. But he's quickly caught by a black prostitute with an iron jaw. He punches her like 3 times. She doesn't even feel it. It's a man, baby.
It's a man, baby.
she quickly ties him to a chair and puts a wig and makeup on him. Turns out she's a wannabe makeup artist, so she puts Willis in this wig and some makeup.
All right. There wasn't a lot of just laugh out loud belly rolls here, but when the camera cuts to Willis in the wig and the lipstick and the makeup, I'm sorry, even after all the crappy moves that Willis has made in the last 10 years, I still think of him as Die Hard and all these tough action films.
He's done a lot of this goofy stuff in his career, though.
He has, but...
And it was nice for me to see him go back to it.
Oh, my God.
And
I belly laughed.
Dude, I did too. Then, as she prepares to shave his balls, he breaks free from his chair. Second time in the movie he's been tied up to a chair.
And goes Iron Fist.
He breaks free, escapes.
Literally.
He grabs an iron, literally like a clothes iron, and knocks her over the head. Then we see him running around the motel in a mini dress and heels, while very Pulp Fiction style surf rock music starts playing.
This is a...
Dude, it's totally bananas. I had a thought here as he's running around this hotel in the mini dress and the wig and the makeup. Bear with me. If they had just injected 25 to 30 more titty shots in this movie, whether it be these prostitutes or whether it be chicks suntanning down on the beach in Venice, if they did more cutaways to girls in their swimsuits and all that, this would totally be a USA Up All Night movie.
It would.
Well,
absolutely.
Think about it. Real
if
quick.
you inject 25 boob shots into anything, it's going to be a USA Up All Night movie.
It's a crazy plot. It's all over the place with a ton of different characters. Over-the-top stereotypical characters. The gangster Mexicans. I
almost think it's like the Lock, Stock, and Three Smoking Barrels genre, though.
There's an overall sense of fun with no real consequences to anything going on. It's a missed opportunity. I'm telling you, this could have been a modern-day titty flick.
It could have been, but the fact that they didn't...
They should have saved some of the money they spent on Tiga the Rapper and got some strippers, renamed the fucking thing to Venice Nights or Venice Beach Patrol.
No. You can't bring...
Well, first of all, we haven't got to Tiga the Rapper yet. So
you can't...
This could have been a fucking 80s throwback movie.
I don't want it to be an 80s throwback movie.
It could have been that.
I don't want it to be a throwback movie.
Am I right? Yeah, boy, I'm right.
They could have just...
The movie's so ridiculous.
They could have just done random shots of
chicks on the beach, like sitting up with their bikinis falling off.
It wouldn't even matter.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but no.
It could be.
Yes, it could be, but...
This would have been our new Bikini Beach Patrol.
No, and it shouldn't. It's got fucking John Goodman in it.
I understand
It's got fucking Bruce Willis.
It would have been Bikini Beach Patrol with these great actors in it.
No.
It would have been awesome.
No. You would have cheapened my movie
I agree with Kate. And it's not even that they even have to show you these actors in those scenes with women or any of that stuff. They could have just done random shots of it throughout the movie. And
Bruce Willis is skateboarding down. You show some chicks sit up with their bikinis
boobs
down.
out. Yeah.
That's it. You could have done it.
That's what it would have been.
This could have been the USA Up All Night movie we've been waiting for years with Bruce Willis and John Goodman in it.
I think we should go with Venice Nights.
Venice Nights, you like that?
I like that one.
Yeah. I thought Venice Beach Patrol was kind of cool, but
Venice Nights, KNIGHT. Yeah, Venice Nights.
Maybe we should make Venice Nights. Maybe Bruce Willis liked making this movie so much he would do Venice Nights for us.
Apparently, he's not that picky. He will do Venice Nights for you.
Dog will hunt.
Dog will hunt.
So, while John and Nola were making out, another apartment has been graffitied. This time, it's a giant depiction of a masked Mexican wrestler squatting.
A lucha libre.
A luchador.
A luchador.
Luchador squatting over Lou the Jew's face, teabagging him with his nutsack. Steve can't believe John let this happen. You know, he trusted him. Take care of this for me. But he's got more pressing matters to attend to as he borrows $5,000 from his old buddy Dave, John Goodman. Remember him? He disappeared for like 30 minutes in the movie. Because he has to pay back Yuri, the loan shark. Well, Goodman now is in bad shape. He's living at Steve's apartment, eating ice cream on the
Just
couch.
not giving a
But
fuck.
what is he watching?
Zombievers, baby.
Oh my God!
He is watching
I saw the
Zombievers.
Zombievers reference, and
I was like, I cannot believe that. I cannot. And what is sad is like it literally took all of like 0.5 seconds. Zombievers.
I immediately went to IMDb to see if the young girl who played Goodman's ex-wife was the blonde chick in Zombievers.
in Zombievers.
Like maybe he watched.
Well,
She's
yeah.
an actress and he watches it over and over.
It's like,
again.
what is the connection? Nothing.
I couldn't find anything. The producers didn't produce Zombievers. Like, why Zombievers? I gotta know.
And after I saw that, I was a little like, I was about like 90%.
I will
was
say
about 10%
this.
checked out on this. Like, this movie's not going any. Boom, Zombievers, I'm in.
I
What's
will say
going on?
this: I gave Zombievers a tremendous amount of shit when we did our Zombiever
listeners, by the
episode.
way, we do a whole show on Zombievers. Google it. Google it.
I have way more respect for Zombievers now.
They are part of the cultural zeitgeist now.
It's in there.
I can't believe it, but yes,
Actually,
they
that's
are.
one of my favorite episodes we've ever done. Go watch our Zombievers episode. But yes, I'm glad we all recognized it. Hey,
like Cody said, in 0.5
hey,
seconds.
so much for this killing memory and brain cells. We all got it.
Me like Zombievers.
Well, we are pretty much superhuman at this point.
Real quick, we'll stop there at Zombievers. We have introduced the beer of the night halfway through the show here. Barrow's Farm to Market Persimmon Saison. Thoughts? Yak Boy, you first.
Well, I can definitely taste that what I'd classify as the normal, the Saison type flavor. But that persimmon, and they were right, you're going to pick up that real sweetness on the backside. So that was the first thing that got me. Like,
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. There
And it
is
just-
on the backside, and I'm always amazed at how specific brewers can get their intent to where you taste it on the backside, not on the front. And I'm like, it's the same. I mean, it's all mixed together. It's amazing how that happens to where you don't get it on the front, but then all of a sudden on that backside, boom, there it is. I had a coffee stout one time to where they were like, "You're not going to taste coffee until after you've actually swallowed this." And I'll be damned if it wasn't till after I swallowed it that coffee note hit. I'm amazed at how their intent can actually be applicated into
Do we know?
beers.
Is this an unfiltered Saison or it's a very cloudy?
Oh,
Yeah.
to me, it's not
no.
that cloudy.
The pour is extremely murky.
oh, I'm going to say most of the farmhouse ales are unfiltered, but I'm not going to say that they have sediment in them. This is filtered.
This is a little bit, but
I'll just say this.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I
pour
mean,
on this thing
there's no
is-
sediment in
the
this,
pour's
so it
beautiful.
has
The pour is a beautiful pour on this thing.
the particulate matter has been filtered out.
yeah, okay.
But it has been filtered, but I mean, it is still relatively cloudy.
We've done several fruit, flower heavy beers here. The hibiscus, the
Blood work, but even if
Bloodwork
you go
orange.
into the triples, you know, like the Don de Dews, they have that heavy
the
floral,
Megadeth
yeah.
beer. All
that
actually
heavy
all
floral
the,
scent.
all of that breweries are so loaded with. This is not overpowering at all. From a Tut, does it remind you of the persimmons you picked as a young boy with your
No,
grandpa?
it doesn't. They would pucker your face up, and this does not. It's got a hint of it. It's not. All right, I'll be totally honest. When I first read the can and I saw that persimmons there, I was like, "Screw this! This is not. Not in my beer." No, you really can't taste it that much. It's just a nice sweetness on that back end. That's not. It's a auxiliary note, if you will. It's not a foundation note.
It's very taste wise. It's very thick.
Mm-hmm.
It's a heavy beer.
It is. But at the same time, I could see me. Well, I'm not going to say I'm going to drink this in August.
No.
It's not that heavy of a beer, though.
to me, it's a weighty. It has a lot.
Saisons tend to be.
Well, I mean, you get that yeasty,
so they
that
tend to
little
be
bit.
they tend to be what you're talking about, that heaviness. But
Does this have a lager presence to you?
well, actually, it's not so much a lager presence. The farmhouse ales were originally derived from pilsners, so you're probably tasting more like the pilsner type of malts and things like that.
I'm just
But
getting.
it's got a little bit maltier of a presence of it.
I'm getting
Yeah.
kind of a malty lager kind of taste. Once that fruitiness on the front end,
Yeah.
subsides.
You mean back end?
Are you getting the fruitiness on the front? I'm getting it on the back.
I'm getting it on the back.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not sweet. I get a sweetness on the
No,
front,
I'm getting-
but I really taste I taste that fruit. I taste on the
honestly
backside.
I'm getting the fruit on the front end.
Okay.
Well, then your tongue is backwards.
Well, who do I talk to about that?
The tongue experts.
Do you know what my copay is? Do you know what I have to?
Talk to the doctor about it.
Where's the doctor? He's nowhere to be seen. It's interesting. It's tasty.
It is very tasty. I'm enjoying it.
I didn't expect it to be this malty. Do you agree it has a maltiness?
No, it does.
Yeah, but I mean that's typical of a farmhouse, though.
But it's like we said. It's
Remember the Oklahoma farmhouse that we did?
Oh, it was a yes. So many episodes ago.
I can't remember the brewery's name.
Why can't I remember things?
the Prairie.
Prairie farmhouse.
Yes.
It still had that maltiness on it. I mean, that's just a signature of your farm house.
I just was amazed at the pour on this thing, how cloudy it was. I mean, that's why I said unfiltered. It was an extremely cloudy beer, and even then, holding up, I mean, it is a dense beer,
Yeah.
extremely dense beer. But it is tasty, and it's not taking anything away. I should mention you boys are about to light up your second
Yes.
Pappy cigar, so we're gonna see how that pairs for you guys with.
I want to check the consistency of it. I want to get all down into the tobacco
I will do
leaves.
that later on this evening. We got to get some pictures taken, but your fears going in when you saw Persimmon, unwarranted. It's not an overpowering.
Yeah, it's
beer.
not. It's definitely not a flavored beer. You can tell the gimmick beers when pumpkin spice beer. Oh, I'm staying away from
Yeah,
you.
but you know what I kind of like about Barrow and what they're doing is the ones they're choosing some to bought to can
Yeah.
that are kind of ballsy, that are kind of out of left field. The Persimmon and
Yeah, but it's not that unique coming from Austin like I am. You get all your hibiscus, your pumpkins, your bananas.
Punch him in the face.
Well, I've got to do what I'm told.
Punch him, or I'll release those.
Key grip.
I'll release those charcoal drawings you did in my nutsack.
Punch him right in the face.
Let's get back to the beer,
Okay.
and I will keep tabs on you guys with the follow-up cigars for sure.
I'm kind of hesitant to light it because I don't want it to be over.
No, you got plenty of time. Light it up.
No, because as soon as I light it, then eventually it's going to be over.
You might have another one in your future. You only live once, brother. You only live once.
It's nice.
And when you remember the Tuesday Night Cigar Club, you might only live for a very limited amount. We tend to push ourselves.
Like my doctor says, it's only a matter of time.
What's he know? Oh, wait. He knows quite a bit.
Well, no, I'm talking about the doctor I went to from the second opinion that I got from our doctor. I just wanted to make sure. Our doctor told me it was fine.
Have I should not have been taking all my advice from our doctor?
I'm just saying that he told me my condition was fine. My other doctor was like, well.
So, getting back to the movie. Light up, boys. Light up. When Steve finds Salvatore Lopez, played briefly by Tiga the rapper.
Tiga.
Who's Tiga the rapper?
He was, or was date. I don't know anything.
No, you know, and now you're ashamed to say it.
No, I'm not
You were
ashamed to
gonna
say it.
Is he ass and titties?
No, I can't think of the name. What is the name of the
Ass.
girl?
You were gonna say it, and you're like, they're gonna judge me. I shouldn't.
No, it's not that. I
He is
can't.
known for dating one of the Kardashians.
That's what it is. Kardashian. She's not a Kardashian.
I'm totally judging you.
A Jenner.
Kylie Jenner.
I'm totally judging you.
And you said
I
that.
pay.
Oh, you know what? I don't know who he is.
Well, at least I'm not like over here drinking all these fruity beers in Austin.
Oh, you had to go there?
Oh.
At least I'm not listening to Kardashian Jenners.
It's all on the news feed.
You know what? Doctor's my favorite of all you now.
I'm working on getting a Bruce Jenner cigar on the show. You think it's one thing, and you start to smoke it, just evaporates.
Oh.
Is that wrong? Can I not say that?
Much like the transgendered people in the Escape from the Transgendered scene, I wish that they would have actually spent some money on some actual transgender
How
actors.
cool would it have been to have Bruce Jenner show up in those trans hookers?
I'm
Hey,
surprised.
baby.
At this point, I'm surprised he didn't.
Right?
She.
She didn't. Sorry.
He's a she now. You're an asshole for not recognizing that.
I am. Sure she is.
Oh, he says she is. So Steve finds Salvatore Lopez, played briefly by the rapper Tiga, who, yes, dated one of the Bruce Jenner offspring.
What has Tiga done? What songs do I know?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
He's a rapper, though.
Sure. She calls himself
got
that.
tattoos on his neck.
And he
He's
dated-
done things. He's got.
Back when Bruce Jenner could create kids, he created two daughters who... She created daughters who dated one of these guys. Can I say that?
I just don't know who Tiga is. What?
He's a rapper that the kids know.
Alright.
Damn it.
He's
He's
got
on screen
songs.
for like 2 minutes. Nobody knows. Anyway, he learns that Salvatore was hired to do the spray painting by a crooked real estate developer who wanted the Chinese who wanted to buy the apartment buildings to drop their offer on the apartments so he could buy them up at all the...
Oh, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. He has done notable songs as Ayo. Never heard of it. Rack City. Never heard of it.
Oh, that's good.
Hookah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Hookah.
Hookah or hooker?
Hookah. I'm assuming
That's
he's
hookah.
doing. I'm assuming he's doing like hooker, cool and hip style. No, it's hookah.
Hookah.
Man, I don't know this dude.
Again, you're just...
Move to L.A. official video.
You're showing our age. You're making not him look bad, us look bad.
That's true.
Take away his phone. Get his phone. Yeah,
No.
Take his phone.
No. I gotta
Look,
watch the Cubs.
It turns
Wait.
out... It's over. Turns out that this crooked real estate developer has been hiring Salvatore Lopez to
Wait, what?
do these pornographic artist things.
Oh, is Willis already caught up with him yet? I'm. What then? How do we know that the crooked real estate guy's doing it?
Because
I'm getting there.
because
I'm lost.
his assistant John has found out this information because he's gone.
I'm telling you, the minute they find out that they hired the graffiti artist to do these paintings to lower the property value so the Chinese guys would bail out, that's pure USA up all night, baby.
It is.
It is pure USA up all night.
And in this next scene, it is only proven that it is
So
USA.
Steve, Bruce Willis, grabs Dave off the couch and they go down to the real estate office to settle things. They demand that Shooter McGavin,
man.
Christopher McDonald.
McDonald, who, by the way,
he-
last week got arrested big time, DWI,
Okay, well, at least it's DWI.
3 times the limit.
Oh, wow.
Not TNCC style, but close.
Close.
Wow.
I
Going
was
all out.
afraid that you were saying that he would like grope somebody.
No. Well, I'm sure you.
Probably.
He was
It's Shooter
so
McGavin.
drunk he got pulled over and groped someone.
Well,
It's Shooter McGavin,
They
man.
demand that Shooter McGavin, who put Tiga
up to it.
to this, not only make an insane offer of $22 million to buy Lou the Jew's buildings for what you did, but you also have to throw in a free beachfront condo for Dave. John
One
Goodman.
bedroom.
1 bedroom and a den.
A breach
And a
front.
den.
He does specify a den. 1 bedroom and a den. Or else they'll go to the police with Salvatore's signed confession.
Which he agrees to.
I'm sorry, dude. This is USA Up All Night.
Totally.
All you need is 30 more titties.
And I love how the fact that Dan or John Goodman's like, he's getting all into this now. He's starting to wake up a little bit.
What does he tell Willis? I got nothing to lose.
Nothing.
His wife's taking everything from him.
There's nothing more dangerous in this world than a man with nothing to lose. Am I right, Yax?
Nothing.
But there's still the situation of Buddy the missing dog. So Steve and Dave go back to the detective agency where Steve flips over his desk to reveal a giant arsenal of weapons.
And this is what you see in the trailer that everybody's like John Wick.
Machine guns, ninja stars, brass knuckles, they're going to war. But again, it's misleading. That's not this movie. But that's what happens in this scene.
Mac 10 with suppressor.
The Mac 10 with suppressor. Iconic 80s,
I love
dude.
that.
Yeah.
They steal what's left of the cocaine from Lupe, go to the Birdcage bar to find the crime lord Prince, who supposedly has the rest of the blow.
And Prince is, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's been in quite a few things.
He's been around. We learn from John's voiceover he's into drugs, prostitution, drug dealing.
My favorite of his...
As if we wouldn't know that just from being in that club. Stupid voiceover.
My favorite, he
That's
was
fine.
he was one of the thugs in Dread.
Yeah, he was like the second henchman
Yeah.
guy in Dread. I can't remember if he was in The Wire or not.
I think he was.
Yeah, The Wire's the best show.
I think he was.
Well,
He's been in a lot. He's been in a lot of those things. I really like the guy as an actor. I'm ashamed that I can't remember his name.
Do you guys agree The Wire's the best show you're not watching?
Nobody's watching it anymore because it's off the air.
But it was the best show ever, right?
It was good.
I've seen better.
I have seen better.
It's no sports
It's
night.
called The Sopranos.
It's no sports night, but I mean it was
Sopranos
good.
squashes The Wire. Let's get that out there.
But it was no Breaking Bad.
I never saw it. I heard it was lame.
Only the first season.
When it comes to crime dramas on TV, there's The Sopranos and then there's nothing. That's your host, Matt Gates.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that The Sopranos isn't the epicenter. I mean,
put
that's
The Wire up there?
that's the Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But
You're going to put The Wire up there?
I'm going
You
to say
put
that
Breaking Bad up there?
Chaucer. I'm just saying that The Wire and Breaking Bad can be Chaucer.
Chaucer kind of sucks.
No, he's pretty
He
talented.
killed himself.
So did half of the artists out there.
He knew he was no Soprano.
2 years later, I won't be surprised if one of these people at the table.
Well, where was I? They steal the cocaine back from the prince
Cocainium.
and arrange to meet Spider at his place that night to make an exchange. But they'll need some extra muscle, so it's a good thing that John suddenly shows up. Remember young John?
Yo, John.
Shows up with Nola's 2 giant Samoan brothers. Now that Nola and John are officially dating, that happened somehow.
yeah.
They've come to apologize for chasing Steve naked.
Well, John told them that they need to apologize.
Dude, they apologized they chase Bruce Willis naked throughout all of Venice on a skateboard. They want to apologize for it, and they, you know what? We owe you one. And he's quick to collect.
What are you doing right now?
What are you doing right now? Not to nitpick, but the whole time that John, the nerd, is describing his relationship with Nola, John Goodman's Dave is cracking up at it all. He's over there on the couch, like, laughing his ass off. That makes zero sense. Because, one, we've never seen him meet John.
Yeah.
And two, he's surely never met Nola.
Correct.
Goodman?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
This film doesn't take itself seriously and all that, but you still need to keep some kind of internal logic.
Yeah.
He's over there giggling as hell about Nola dating him. He's never met any of his characters. It makes no sense story-wise.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
I'm not worried
Well, I
about
mean,
it.
I could assume that.
You're not worried about it because it's a nothing movie.
I can assume
but still,
that.
as a filmmaker, you got to be like, we're gonna have John Goodman giggle at all this stuff of stuff he would never fucking know about.
Well, I would assume that John and Dave have met.
Eventually, yeah.
Well,
Well, they maybe in the past, but he didn't know about Nola's.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would have
Bruce
been. It would have
Willis,
been. It
he
would.
didn't know about. It made no sense.
I mean, it could have easily been solved with like literally John walking in the room. Hey, Dave. Hey.
They show Willis so uncomfortable with the new relationship, but dude, there's no way John Goodman would have a gauge on that. I was like, man, you messed up.
Yeah.
Well, after a brief shootout at Spider's house, where my two biggest highlights were a security dog, a German Shepherd, attacks them, and John Goodman bites the dog.
He literally. I mean,
He just grabs the dog and bites his neck, and then
he literally. And they both. And
then
Willis's character stands up and he's like, that was crazy. I was like, this is all of a sudden, like, right at the dog bite, I'm like, this has just become Hudson Hawk.
And a second later, when all the shooting is done and everything's settled, he busts in guns blazing. When everything is fine between Spider and Steve. Take this, you motherfuckers!
I kind of liked it.
That was funny.
I'm sorry.
Dude, that's my highlight of the scene, dude. So, eat lead, you motherfuckers! And, dude, Spider kind of puts his hands like, what the hell? And Bruce Willis is like, dude, we're done here.
It's cool, man.
Everything's taken care of. And what I really like is, like, Goodman's character, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I think he said something like, I'm hyped up beyond all belief.
Yeah. I am out of control.
I am out. That's what he says. I'm so out of control. I'm so sorry. So all the scores are settled. Everyone's happy. Spider has his cocaine now, and Steve has his buddy the dog back. The next day, we see Steve and his sister, Funke Jensen, and niece all moved into his parents' old house. So Lou the Jew
was good on his offer.
Made good on his offer.
Why should he not be? He just got more money than he was going to be offered from the Chinese.
Correct. Dave is even managing the grill. He's grilling steaks for everybody. Everything is perfect, except John, the dork, the young detective, and his legendary potato salad are missing from the party. We cut to John tied up in a warehouse by the prince. Remember him? The black slumlord
Entrepreneur
drug guy. He's demanding to know where Steve is. When John won't talk, they spare his life and storm off to get revenge on Steve.
Well, they go to his voice recordings that he's been doing, like as he's doing his voiceovers. He's actually recording all of this.
John was
With
like,
address.
John's like, I'm not giving up my guys. I'm not going to talk at all. But throughout the movie, he's been making these voice recordings on his phone. They just access that, find his apartment.
Oddly, that's where the film ends.
They're going to get. I did not like this ending.
Such a weird ending.
I did not like the ending at all.
They should have ended with Goodman grilling steaks.
that
Everybody's
should have been
happy at the house, and that's the end. It's a happy ending.
Yeah.
They had no reason to go to this.
Well, they're doing it because they're trying to set up a sequel that we don't know whether they're going to get or not. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, no, it was a clear sequel setup.
Yeah.
But a clear sequel set up to what? Other than Prince wanting like payback for having the cocaine, which he did pay.
Yeah.
He paid for a bag of cocaine.
It was legitimate.
They had 3 bags of cocaine in the briefcase.
First of all, trying to set up a sequel for this is madness because are you going to get Momo back, who's probably going to come off of Justice League?
Aquaman.
Are you going to get him back? I mean, are you going to get these actors back? Are you going to be able to keep the flavor?
Can you get David Arquette back?
Can you get David Arquette back? Yes, you can get David Arquette back. That dude's not doing nothing. I didn't like the ending. I would have rather it wrapped up.
They ended it perfectly with Willis taking a picture of Goodman and his sister at the new house at a barbecue. That should have been the end.
I agree.
This ending made no sense. Correct?
Very much so.
Honestly, maybe the worst ending we've had on the show.
Close to it. I mean,
it's
an
close.
ending, like you said, literally should have been stopped like 60 seconds before, because when you add this scene on, it's one of those things where they should have just cut it. Like,
you reached too far on this. I mean, I like the ambition, but you reached too far. Don't do it.
Yeah. Real quick before we get into our final thoughts, we've all had some beer. I'd like the beer. I think it's very full bodied.
It is.
Not too fruity.
no, it's not.
No.
It's sweetness on the front end, and my God, you see that depth on the pour, but it actually drinks really smooth.
Yeah, and it's as heavy as it is. It's actually a light drink. It's not. It's an easy drink, I guess I should say.
Very.
How's it pairing with the second Pappy's?
It's not interfering at all. Oddly enough,
Are you guys getting the same thing on your second Pappy's? The spice initially, and
No.
then
It is very well. The flavors between the beer and the cigar, they're pairing differently. I mean, because this is just a different. It's a different sweetness.
Are you guys getting the same thing from your cigars? The
Yes.
initial spice followed
yeah.
by total
That's-
creaminess.
No.
The cigar.
I am getting the same cream. I'm getting a lot of the bread, but I missed the spice off of the ignition
No
of the
spice.
cigar.
No spice.
I didn't really get the spice off the ignition. I'm still getting the same foundational flavors. I'm getting that,
Bread.
creaminess. I'm getting that breadness. I'm wondering if the spice, because that spice off the initial on the first one wasn't that. I mean, it wasn't like a spice bomb. It wasn't like a total hit.
No, it was.
So I'm wondering if the sweetness off of the Persimmon beer kind of muted that spice down a little bit.
Could be.
Yeah,
That's a good
it's
one.
still a nice pairing. It's not interfering. Like I said, the creaminess and the bread flavors of the cigar are very nuanced. To where if you had a heavy flavored beer or a heavy flavored drink, I do think that it would interfere with you picking that up. But this beer's not interfering with that.
Okay. Agreed.
You got the hiccups.
I do. I'm gonna try to fight through them. We'll see how it goes. If it gets distracting,
Someone's had a bit of mash.
I will call timeout, but I'm not there yet. Sometimes a movie catches you in the perfect mood to fully embrace it, and that's what happened here. I didn't even know I wanted this film in my life. I didn't know I needed it. But turns out it's just what I needed. If I watched,
I agree.
If I watched it any other day, especially with a more cynical eye, which I usually have, I would have dismissed this film entirely.
It's an easy film to
But
dismiss.
But where I was in this moment, it worked for me, and I'm giving it a thumbs up.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
giving it a thumbs up. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, not a non-hesitant thumbs
A
up.
non-hesitant thumbs up. I liked Once Upon a Time in Venice.
No,
This movie is like so many other things that we've tried to do tonight. It's new. It's a mash of many things mixed
Action,
into one,
comedy.
but it works. The story, there's some style choices on the editing here, but other than that,
it's a fun film.
it's a fun film. I mean, and for what?
And we don't get a lot of those.
No.
Just
No.
fun.
And given
Yeah.
how many what we said, because the dynamic has changed in the production of TV and film with so many platforms, this one, it's good because it just it works because they have like I said, I just want to know, how did they find these actors?
But that's but it never betrays that fun spirit.
Yeah.
It never goes dark. It never takes that turn towards something that it's not. It's just a fun movie. And we don't get a lot of those. So I'm really glad we chose it. It's so different than what we've done.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where it would be easy to dismiss. I'm sorry, we know Bruce Willis's track record over the last decade. It's not pretty.
No, it's not pretty.
This is one of those ones to where we could have easily been like, no, it was so fun. It was an entertaining deal.
The minute the initial awkwardness and disappointment, like, oh, it's another Bruce Willis walking us through this thing. The minute it turned towards we were laughing, it's like the directors sensed it and ran with it.
Yeah.
And it never let off that note.
And I agree. I like the fact that it never went dark. And that's the cool,
Kind of like the
that's
cigar.
the cool thing that we do.
It found a note that we loved, that cream, and it rocked it. It gave us other stuff in there, but it always was consistent with that cream. This movie was consistent with that self kind of aw shucks, smirky sense of humor, and it worked. So this leads me, boys, to our let's close this out. I will come back to your I want to know if your second experiences with the Pappy cigar are close in line with your first takes. But before we do that, top 5 Bruce Willis vehicles.
Hang on as I pull up my notes.
I did this not movies featuring Bruce Willis, but Bruce Willis movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
To me, Pulp Fiction is not a Bruce Willis movie.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I wanted top 5 Bruce Willis movies.
Yeah.
Okay. Tut, I'll go you first.
All right. So I will go Die Hard. I include all the series in here.
Die
At least
Hard
Die
1.
Hard 1 and 2. I was a big fan of Die Hard 2.
Me too, but that's your 1 and 2 tied?
Well, that's I just say Die Hard 1.
Die Hard is your number 1.
Right. The Fifth Element. God, I love The Fifth Element.
That's your number 2?
That's my number 2. I'm sorry. I love the whole movie. God, it was good.
I gotta agree with Tut. That's where I am. Like Die Hard, Fifth Element.
Oh.
Fifth Element. I can if Fifth Element comes on, I'm watching it.
Exactly.
It's just,
I love it.
it's great.
Chris Tucker?
Chris
Yes.
Tucker, even Chris Tucker. The whole aircraft taking off scene
Okay,
is
all right.
just great.
What's your number 3?
I'll go with Moonlighting the series.
No, we're not doing...
I can't do that.
No.
Why not?
Movies. Bruce Willis movies.
Bruce Willis carried
Movies.
Moonlighting.
All right.
I'm putting Moonlighting in there.
Well, I just can't believe you put Fifth Element above Moonlighting.
I will go Hudson Hawk 4.
Okay.
That movie just stuck with me for such a long time.
Okay.
Last Man Standing is number 5. I have to give honorable mentions.
Of course.
I have them too.
I'm going beyond. I want to give Armageddon an honorable mention, even though Willis didn't carry it. That was an ensemble cast, much like
It strived because of its ensemble cast.
I'm sorry, I like it, and I'm not apologizing. Much like Pulp Fiction and Sin City, which I loved him in Sin City.
Sin City was good.
That was not, a Bruce Willis film. Even though Armageddon tried to be a, Bruce Willis film, Steve Belushi, we can all agree, carried that movie. I want to give an honorable mention out to Color of Night. That is one of the ones that we have covered before, simply because it wasn't Willis doing Willis. And then we make fun of this.
You have 3 honorable mentions?
Yes. This is my last one. We make fun of this, but I'm still putting it out there. Striking Distance.
How is that making fun of? It's awesome.
He wasn't Willis doing just the... he was a cop, so it's not...
He was disgraced Pittsburgh cop Tom Hardy.
Yeah, but he had the stare.
I'm just saying...
It was the stare.
I'm just saying I love that movie, man.
You close the door and he's right there. Just staring. Being stareful.
If my cousin Mark would just shave those receding hairlines into me.
Oh, I love Striking Distance. I thought it was a great movie.
I do too. So we have Tut with Die Hards 1 and 2, Fifth Element, Moonlighting, which isn't.
We'll strike that. Whatever.
What was your fourth? Hudson Hawk.
Last Man Standing.
And then Armageddon,
Striking Distance,
and Color Night. Cody, you're going to give me some better ones than that.
Well, I got to start off like Tut. I am going to go all in on loving Die Hard as number 1. And
the first Die Hard.
The first Die Hard. The first Die Hard. The Christmas movie.
You're playing by the rules. Just one Die Hard movie.
And then I'm going to follow up with The Fifth Element. That's my second.
God, you sons of bitches.
Dude,
awesome.
it's a fucking phenomenal movie. It has everything plus fucking Bruce Willis.
All right. Well, I'm learning something about you boys tonight.
Multi-pass. But thirdly, I'm going to go in Last Boy Scout.
Good man.
Last motherfucking Boy Scout. Because that shit's awesome.
Reminds you of the first time we met.
Yeah. Close to it.
We'll talk about it.
Close to it.
What's your fourth?
My fourth? Hudson Hawk. Love that one. It's like I said, it just
to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar.
Oh, Danny Aiello.
You cuddable.
But now my fifth, Blind Date. That I love it.
It was the closest to the moonlighting, the goofy, the comic sensibilities.
But there's this thing, I don't know why, but for some reason I love it. I love a movie that has a humorous judge scene.
Oh, and so this like one, My Cousin Vinny.
Yes, I love it.
But in this one, it was the guy. It was
the guy that played
Higgins.
Yes. No, not Higgins. I play Mr. Feeney.
Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
Right, but I mean, it's between him and Larroquette. That scene is fantastic. It is phenomenal.
Oh, it's so good.
Now, My Cousin Vinny also.
No, but the way he shits on John Larroquette, his son-in-law, is so good.
Can I use your name? God, no. I swear on my mother's grave. Your mother is playing the back nine at the club.
Well, I'm relieved that I am seeing some.
But now I will give, like I said, the honorable mention.
All right.
Striking Distance. I was going to go, and I was looking for anything else, and I really couldn't find anything else. I mean, if there was some, looked at, Armageddon, Pulp Fiction, and I was like, you know what? They're all Bruce Willis films.
But they're not.
But they're not Bruce Willis films.
By Bruce. Yeah.
But now I could throw in some of the Die Hards. The second one was really good, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that because the first one really just sets everything else apart.
So you had Die Hard,
Fifth Element,
Last Boy Scout, Hudson Hawk,
and Blind Date.
Okay. Here's my top 5 as the guy who grew up wanting to live in Bruce Willis's house and possibly
Take a bullet for him.
live in his skin and become him.
In no way is that strange.
In no way is that.
In every way is that strange.
Every way is that strange. Hudson Hawk is my number 1 film.
Oh, there you go. It is phenomenal. I love that film.
I'm not going to argue it.
It is the most misunderstood, most misaligned blockbuster ever.
It was maligned.
But it was Willis at his most Willis. And I love it for that. And I actually saw a little bit of Hudson Hawk. And
I was about to say Hudson Hawk's probably the closest to that moonlighting.
And it's closest to Once Upon a Time in Venice.
It really is. I can agree with that.
Well,
Some of the scenes with him and Andy McDowell where it's kind of like all shucks, but with some sexual undertones, shows up in Once Upon a Time in Venice.
Nah.
My second film, keep in mind, boys, you're listening to a Willis expert.
Ooh.
1, Hudson Hawk. 2, Last Boy Scout.
Go on.
Willis ran with and personified the burnout cop in a half dozen films.
I was about to say, yeah, that's mainly his
This
big
is
deal.
where it all started. And Quentin Tarantino once said, the highest praise you can give to a film is when you dress up like the characters in the film and start trying to act like them. In high school, after seeing Last Boy Scout, I dressed up like Bruce Willis in The Last Boy Scout. I wore crumpled khaki pants, a crumpled jacket, and that's where I met you.
Absolutely.
Yak Boy was having a house party. His parents were out of town. He was driving through his neighborhood, and I stumbled across him. He literally ran me over in his car. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? What are you doing? And I was dressed up like the Last Boy Scout.
You absolutely were.
And
He had the shitty Hawaiian shirt
I had everything.
with the crumpled jacket.
Cigarette. Why don't you just run me over then? I guess I spilled your warm cup of piss. I became the Last Boy Scout in high school.
Hey, do you need a ride? Fucking touch me again, I'll kill you. I'm just offering a ride, dude.
That is how we met. We met because of the Last Boy Scout. But that's honestly, I adopted that persona. I love that movie so much. So I'm going to put that in my number 2.
I mean, I do remember asking him, face or gut?
I guess I spilled a cup of warm piss. Number 3, I'll give Die Hard.
It's quintessential, man.
Love it. Number 4, I'm going to give Last Man Standing.
I will put that in the honorable mention.
I'm not a gun guy.
Well, it was kind of a Clint Eastwood tribute.
No, it's a tribute to Kurosawa and the Man with No Name. And
The lone
gunman going into a town, turning the families against each other.
Right.
But I am the ultimate not gun guy. But in college, I went and saw that at least 4 times in a theater. And I wanted to buy 2 45s. He made 2 45s so sexy in that movie. I had a lot of problems with that movie, but for the most part,
I honestly
that was his saving.
I just really
Just
wish they would have
awesome.
made. God, what's his name? Played Sully, but he was the
Sean Patrick Flynn.
yeah.
Not Sean Patrick Flynn. Sean Patrick.
I really just if they had just made him like talk with that sort of that transcontinental accent. Oh, I'm gonna rub you out. It would have been perfect.
Rub you out, see?
I was obsessed with Last Man Standing. It was actually the last Bruce Willis film that I was obsessed with.
Yeah.
It was really
he did a
good.
lot of bad acting stuff in that threw me off. We'll get into that on the last man standing episode of this. I'm sure we'll do it. Number 5, I'm gonna give Color Night. It was
Stretch.
the last time I saw him stretch and act and do some things, whether it was orgasm in the he's still trying, damn it.
He's still screaming.
Ow! I said it, I think, on our Last Man Standing episode, which we did. You can go back and do that. That's the reason I sat in a theater in Sam Houston and watched that movie. I sat in a theater and watched that 3 times. That's what made me get a psychology degree. Him in that movie.
Well, you needed one to understand the movie.
I was like, that seems interesting.
Well, now you have to use...
The reason I have
I believe we said
bachelor's of science in psychology is because of Color of Night. I got to put it in my list.
Well, I believe we said it ad nauseum when we reviewed it, but you can only see Willis' penis so many times before you have to question reality.
You got to just give into it. My honorable mentions... which, Tut was right to say we have to give him. Striking Distance. He took the burnout cop from Last Boy Scout to another level of Striking Distance. Jeff Hardy is...
And once again, it is
beyond burnout.
And it wasn't... And to
it's
me,
a fantastic name.
To me, it was...
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy.
Dude, and to me, Color...
Hostage Jeff Talley.
I was just waiting.
I
was just waiting for somebody to make the joke throughout there, because eventually you meet the rest of his family, and they would have called him the Hardy Boys. But they didn't do it.
And do you remember who his uncle was in Striking Distance? Tom Atkins. Baby.
Tom motherfucking Atkins.
And to me, the cool thing about Striking Distance is that it wasn't a caricature of Burnout Cop. But these days, Bruce Willis would do caricature of Burnout Cop.
He actually felt wounded testifying against his cousin. It worked.
It was pretty cool.
You had what's the guy that played his cousin who was the killer? Who went on to do really good in Eraser and ended up killing himself? Vinny Pastore?
Yeah.
Oh wow, but
him and but what I love also with him is that you had Atkins and Louis Farina both working those stashes.
Dude, the Pittsburgh police
you're talking about
mustache
police.
Bonanza.
If you're a police, you have to have a mustache.
If you're a policeman in Pittsburgh, you have a mustache.
No, if you're a policeman anywhere, you have to have a mustache.
At one point, Atkins took off his mustache and threw it at Dennis Farina, and he threw his mustache. They battled.
I was just waiting for him to take it off and you see the
killer
the perp running away. He's like, I've got him, and he stabs him.
My other honorable
pulls out
mention,
that stash out of his back, wipes it off, sticks it back on. Not today. Not in my city.
Not in my city.
My other honorable mention is Blind Date.
See?
It captured the David Addison kind of comic side of Willis that I thought was so ripe that nobody ever really caught.
I know. Once he got an action
Death
star,
Becomes Her didn't catch it.
Yeah, Bonfire of the Vanities.
Nobody caught. Blake Edwards, who did Blind Date, caught that.
And it's amazing.
He didn't want the cocky David Addison. He wanted the comic side of it, and he actually captured it.
And it's amazing because he was so great in that role. It was like once he became diehard action guy, it's like the comic side of him just... And even in Die Hard, hey, come out to the coast, have a good time.
Blake Edwards captured it.
It's like they abandoned that side.
Yeah,
but he threw it. But that little scene right there in Die Hard, that was that character. Mm-hmm. And I love it because it literally is the perfect. He flicks open that lighter. Here's that little flame, and he shoots out that line. Hey, there's that character. Boom, and he closes that lighter, and that's all you see.
Yeah, I just...
It was... to me, it was a lot of cheese, but it captured a really cool side.
But that's kind of like what his comedy is, though. It's not... he's got great comedic timing, But there is an element of cheese to it that was very acceptable and very presentable. I wish that they would do more with it. I wish he would do more with it.
I
wish he wouldn't have just given up and just acted like shit throughout a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but once again, you know what? You can also tell he as himself. You're one thing in the beginning of your career.
Well,
you hit a movie or thing where you get a transition.
Every successful
and then all of a
actor
sudden they don't want you to ever do that other thing.
Well, Christopher Walken said he almost encapped. Well, it's different. You get actors, and I think Bruce Willis falls into this. He was like, "You're hired, Bruce Willis. I'm going to give you Bruce Willis because this is what I think that you want." Christopher Walken, they were like, Henry Rollins asked Walken, and it was like, "What kind of role do you want?" And he goes, "A normal dad." He was like, "I just want to play like a normal family man, not weird, not eccentric. I just want to play an average guy." He was like, "Because every time I get a role now, they want me to do Christopher Walken." There's that kind of actor, but then I think that there's the actor like Willis and Jack Nicholson, to where it's like, "Oh, I know what the people want. I'm going to give it to them."
I think what he proved to us in Once Upon a Time in Venice was, you haven't been giving us what we want in a long time, and you actually kind of give us glimpses of it in this.
Yeah.
And I'm forced to give this movie a big thumbs up. I liked Willis in this movie. It was fun.
I did. I really did.
He was having fun.
It was great to see.
And whether it took him having an old buddy on board or whatever, he was having fun.
Yeah.
And it made him smiling made me smile.
Yeah.
It did.
It did. It reminded me why I wanted him to be my dad.
Welcome back, old friend.
So now I have to go back through that list.
Should I write Bruce Willis another letter?
Yes.
You should totally.
And bear me before you write that. Or bear me before you pen that nice tome.
You know what? I should ask Bruce Willis once again if I can come be his bodyguard. I'm still the same swift, young 10-year-old I was. I drink a lot.
Dude, I would almost want you to write that just to see if he does respond. It's like, "Holy shit, kid, I remember you."
I always, honestly, that was my one big thing. I always wanted to
Oh shit.
Try to cast him in something and be like,
I once wrote
Did you get the letter?
I did.
At Laurel Canyon where a little kid wanted to be your bodyguard. He's like, "Holy shit, that was you?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
I did, kid, but my publicist at the time told me not to respond for legal.
Or I get the feeling he's going to be like, "You and all of the other fan letters kept me warm through the winter as I burned them."
That's what I figured. Be like, "Oh, you were one of those kids that sent me those little letters. That's cute."
It's nice, kid.
He puts them in the suggestion box right into the furnace.
Well, you know what? We didn't quite dig into Bruce Willis on our Color of Night episode the way I wanted to. I think we did tonight. And I think he redeemed himself in a lot of ways in tonight's film.
What do you know?
I did.
It really makes me want to go back, and you just listed out that whole list of things that have came out. And
I don't want to watch shows.
I kind of
do.
I kind of do now.
I really do, because I'm sitting here going,
Did we miss something?
Yeah. Is there a gem? Even in any of these. It could be like a minute on screen. Is there something?
Frankly, YouTube is trashing the shit out of this movie, undeservedly so. And
I like this movie. I had fun with this
and so
movie.
have they trashed other movies undeservedly so?
I mean, because sad to say, the people that are usually writing the reviews, the people that are responding, they're the assholes.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have time on their hands and no love for anything.
I'm kind of like Cody. I mean, is there a diamond out there? Is there something hidden? Even just that glimpse. And I mean, maybe not. I mean, maybe all the reviews are, legit. Maybe there's a reason why. I mean, 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong.
Or can they?
But maybe they are wrong. They were wrong about this movie.
Well, I don't have the time.
I'd at least give this one 4 stars out of 5.
Those 10 films I listed off.
I will. I got the time.
You can do it. You guys can do it. Hell,
I watched Dolph Ziggler and Countdown.
I was just ecstatic to see him do that here, and like I said, if all the producers and directors in Hollywood keep getting blacklisted, I will do a Hudson Hawk sequel. I've got an idea. I can do it. Bring me in. I'm ready, Coach. Let me do this.
No, I will say this. After watching a countdown with Dolph Ziggler, WWE needs to hire you for the Running Man sequel or the Running Man reboot.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'll do it right.
We've had those talks. You would kill that shit.
Yeah, I'll do it right.
And they can't get much worse than Countdown. Sorry.
I think I could do wonders. So we'll see if they give Matt Cade a chance. But you know what? To this movie's credit, Once Upon a Time in Venice, we did it right, and it was a fun movie.
It was fun, and I enjoyed it.
Fantastically was.
And
even though I could have streamed it for free on Hulu, I don't mind that I rented it off of Amazon. It was that good.
it was. It's an okay feeling
Yes.
when it's actually good.
Trust me, we have reviewed stuff that I've had to rent that I have felt dirty for renting.
I know.
This has been great. I liked it.
Well, let me kind of try to wrap this up. Brixton Mash Destroyer, I think, impressed us all. It not only didn't play it safe, it didn't play it anyway. It was constantly changing.
It is what it is.
Heavy
It's its
rum,
own
heavy bourbon.
entity.
The sniff betrayed the taste, and then a couple pours later, it was more rum than bourbon, more bourbon than rum. I'll say I liked it more chilled than anything else.
The chilled was the best.
The chilled
I mean,
was the
having
best.
it neat, having it with the ice, just chilled, it was the best. And once again, I mean, I was more skeptical than anything because we asked, do we want to do this one?
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? We'll get a chance probably to do the other ones here sometime in the future, but let's do this one because out of everything, it's the most. Yeah, rum. Yeah, whiskey. These two together, I mean, because it's one of those things where, you normally think like to yourself, do I just want to pour all the liquor into one thing and do it? No, I don't. But guess what? This was phenomenal.
I think it kind of embodies what I envision Drew Estate to be. They got a lot of shit from Traditionalist for their
Cigars.
acid line
And their coffee stuff.
and their coffee stuff, but their
And their-
traditional lines were phenomenal. I kind of think of this as that same way. It's just that kind of a fuck you to the industry. Not really a fuck you to the industry, but we're going to do our thing and fuck it. I mean, we're going to do our thing and just kind of fuck what everybody else does. If people like it, that's cool. If people don't like it, you know what? There's other stuff out there. We're going to do our thing.
Isn't that kind of what we do?
That's exactly what we do. Which I have to say that there's a lot of other people out there that are suddenly doing movie reviews, suddenly doing movie nights out there, and I'm sorry. I'm looking at that thing going, you guys did not do that a year ago. And I'm flattered that you're doing it now. Good on you.
There is a... We're the only one doing cigar shit for people that don't want to watch pasty white guys talking about cigars for an hour. We're the only guys doing something else.
So now you can watch pasty white guys reviewing stuff for 4 hours.
Talking about that, talking about this, talking about that, talking about a movie.
I'm sorry. If you're in your cigar lounge, you're doing what we're doing, and that's what makes us viable. That's what we're the fucking cigar lounge experience.
We've been mashing cigars, movies, and booze together for 2.5 years now, almost 3 years. Nobody else is doing what we do.
Nobody else is doing what that does.
And nobody else is doing what that does. I'm going to give this a huge fucking thumbs up. I'm going to give the... Real quick, you guys are smoking the Pappies.
God.
Is it the same exact experience?
outside of the lack of spice on the ignition, it's the exact same.
You did not have the spice on the ignition.
I did not have the spice on the ignition, but I think that was more of the sweetness of the beer. Yeah.
I still have spice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For me, especially with the beer, the creaminess is picked up.
So you still have the creaminess.
Still have the creaminess. I still have the bread. I still had the pepper on the
So
halfway mark.
is
Yes,
it's exactly
absolutely.
the same cigar.
all right.
Which is phenomenal. I don't,
Well, I'm about to light up another one here for.
I don't want to pick up a cigar, go through it, and be literally every cigar different.
If you're going to pay $25 for a cigar and you've had it before, you want it to taste just like you had it.
Oh, that's my big problem with
Are you guys getting the same experience?
Absolutely. And that's my biggest problem with the other extremely high-end cigars is that the cigar I had 3 years ago doesn't compare to the cigars that I have today. This is the second cigar.
Same.
It's consistent.
Bravo, Willie. Okay. Tuck, give us links.
I'm not sure I can remember links at this point. No, hit us at TNCCcast on Twitter. Hit us up on Facebook, Tuesday Night Cigar Club. Definitely like the page if you haven't. Instagram at TNCC_podcast. Cade's always flooding our Instagram with some really cool pictures. Saw it again tonight. And then subscribe to our YouTube page, Tuesday Night Cigar Club. That way you can see all of our beautiful faces. And then, you know what? If you've held out for this long, definitely if you're buying some Christmas stuff, go to the website, click on the Amazon link, do your Christmas shopping from there. We would definitely appreciate it. It helps us pay the bills. And I think I've covered everything. Oh, by the way, if you got a wedding coming up, hit GroovyGuyGifts.com. Yeah, get you some shot glasses. I'm kind of curious to check out the lighter that you were almost interested in.
Torch lighter,
Yeah. So do that, and also check out FamousSmoke.com. I know you hear their advertisements all over NFL Network, ESPN,
everywhere.
on Sirius.
Well, boys, we did the movie justice.
Absolutely.
We did the movie more than justice. I think we did it more than anyone will ever do it. So
I'm going to go with our original idea of we should add in some more naked breasts and switch the name to Venice Nights.
you're with me.
I'm
This
with
should
you.
be USA Up All Night movie. Boys, before we leave, your Pappy Van Winkle cigars are, am I wrong in saying they're treating you just like the first one you had?
Oh, they're
Yes.
great. They are really, really
Consistency
good.
is solid.
The consistency is solid. The drink does make a little bit of difference.
Well, I mean, that's
Certain flavor profiles are popping up more
Yeah.
versus the booze versus the beer.
What are those flavors that you're getting on the cigar now that you didn't have before?
I would just say the type of sweetness that is being emphasized.
Is it still transitioning smoothly?
Yes.
Still, you're getting.
But I'm getting more with the beer. I'm getting more creaminess than I was
Correct.
with the
which is
liquor.
Yeah,
crazy because we
I
got
agree with
crazy
that.
we got crazy creaminess from the get go.
The sweetness that I picked up off of the first cigar when I was drinking the rum is totally different because the sweetness from the beer is kind of masking that sweetness.
Right.
Like the raisins that I was getting
Right.
from the first cigar,
Sweet
I'm not
raisins.
getting sweet raisins that I was getting from the first cigar. It's not really there in the second cigar because the sweetness from the beers, I think, is masking that.
Yeah.
But bread's there, creaminess is there. I mean, it's just, yeah.
You like it? 2 thumbs ups, 3 thumbs up cigar, 3 thumbs up Brixton Mash Destroyer.
I'm going to love, because that is so new to the market, I'm going to love putting that into my freaking cabinet. And when people come over and I pull that thing out, they're going to
Pour a
like,
little
what
bit.
the hell's this?
Pour a little bit.
Here you go.
They'll know. Give 'em a
Because you
good
can
c-
ask.
give 'em
Because
a
you
good
can
cigar.
pour it out and say, "Hey,
Give 'em
tell
a
me
good
what.
cigar.
Yeah.
Tell me what. What do you think about this? What is it? Just drink it. Tell me what you think. I want to know what their flavor is. I want to know what their profile tells them.
I'm going to love that.
Are they going to be? Are they going to be?
be?
This is a good rum, or this is a good whiskey, or are they going to go? What is this?
Are we working towards getting John Drew Brands and O'Brien's Irish Pub?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
possibly yes.
we could do that. I like it.
It's different. It's new.
There's no reason why we shouldn't have this at the pub.
Correct.
It's our favorite pub. It's our
Will it
favorite-
be a discount on whiskey nights?
Well, technically, it's a
Technically,
rum.
Technically, it's not bourbon. It's rum. On bourbon night, we can't discount it.
I'll give you a discount, but not all the way,
Not all
because
the
it's not
discount.
technically a whiskey.
You only get like a 55% discount.
55%.
I think we can get John Drew Brands at the pub.
Absolutely.
I think that's a safe bet to do. And maybe somewhere else we develop a business, we should focus on these
any
guys.
and all places.
Any and all places. Yes. John Drew Brands. Brixton Mash Destroyer, thumbs up. Pappy Van Winkle, consistent by all counts.
I will say,
Dude,
man,
this
we've
is-
had
this-
some really, really good cigars this year.
Your favorite?
Man, if it's not my favorite, it's the second favorite, and it's got to be close to the favorite. It really is.
Look at this guy.
And what's amazing is that this is not my traditional
No, it's not.
profile.
No, it's not.
I just like the fact that I could taste those flavors that I normally, that you guys always rave about. Oh, I love cream. I love this. And I can barely taste that in some cigars,
You
and I
actually are
get
getting
that.
it. You're getting the
Absolutely.
creamy peanuts.
It's a super easy retrohale cigar. For those like me that are kind of pussies to retrohales,
But you got
This
the
is
cream,
very
you got the
nice.
creamy peanuts.
I didn't get the creamy penis, but you know it's
Peanuts.
or the peanuts,
Peanuts.
you know. But
delicious
it's
creamy
good.
peanut.
I love this.
You
cigar.
love it.
I do.
Well, as anyone who will attest to listening to our show knows, Tut is a hard sell. So take it.
Yeah.
Take it and run with it. You guys are getting the exact same notes on the second run through that you're getting through on the first through. So, Pappy Van Winkle Tradition, 3 thumbs up. Brixton Mash Destroyer, 3 thumbs up. I think we all agree that chilled was the way to go.
Yes.
I haven't tried chilled. I'll try that a little bit
Okay,
later.
look,
I like neat.
We
I like neat, and of course, I always like I love my bourbon neat. I love my
but
Scotch neat.
let's give the farm to market Persimmon its due. It's a tasty fucking beer,
Absolutely.
and not at all conflicting with the cigar. Tut.
Oh, now he's going to be the naysayer.
I do agree that I like it.
He likes the persimmon.
Now, come on, I like it. It's not that persimmon-y.
All right, I like it. I didn't feel it was too fruity. I didn't feel it. Actually, I thought it was a full-bodied beer.
It is. It actually is.
But
it
it-
is a very full-bodied beer. It's a heavy beer.
But by
It's
no
a
means
great
did
drinking
it,
beer.
Did it take away from the cigar at all?
It's not a floral bomb. It's not a hibiscus. It's not this weird Austin
No, it was just,
beer.
It was just a full-bodied great beer. I liked it. So thumbs up.
I'm going to agree.
The
Thumbs up.
persimmon. Thumbs up.
Absolutely.
Good job, boys. Thumbs up to the beer, thumbs up to the booze, thumbs up to the cigar.
Can't ask
How
more.
could you ask for anything more?
Can't ask
Thumbs up
more
for the
out of
movie.
life for this.
Thumbs up for the movie.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs
for the
up for the movie.
We rocked tonight.
I'll put up both my
As far
thumbs.
as the All Things New episode, everything got a thumbs fucking.
David Arquette, thumbs up.
Well,
Let's not go crazy.
all right. So you know what I have to say here at this point, if we're going to bring this to a close.
Well, I'll just finish up with the Hudson Hawk quote.
Would you like to swing on a star?
That's close to it, but Caesar, Anthony, you okay?
When did the circus come into town?
Circus comes into town every time we release a podcast.
It does. We're maniacs, but we are passionate about what we do.
Absolutely.
That's my catchphrase.
We just told my sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins.
Sweet raisins.
Boys, great show. May the wings of liberty never lose a feather. We'll see you next time, motherfuckers. Peace out.
To learn more about the time I skateboarded butt-ass naked through the streets of Venice Beach, and by Venice Beach I mean the Burger Chef parking lot out in Reseda, and by parking lot I mean inside the actual restaurant, until I pops an ollie straight into the deep fryer, badly burning my super sensitive nutsack, please read my 1997 Thrasher magazine profile. Keith Howell, from nude skateboarding big shot to burned and crispy tater tots. I'm warning you though. Tear-jerking, magical story of resilience and courage, and fried balls. In the meantime, to learn more about the cigars and libations enjoyed on tonight's episode, you can visit www.drewistate.com, www.johndrewbrands.com, and www.barrowbrewing.com. For more on O'Brien's Irish Pub, the live music leader in Central Texas, please visit o'brienstemple.com and download their free smartphone app, where you'll find full beer listings including over 40 on tap, menu information, and a calendar of upcoming live events. To listen and purchase music heard on tonight's program, check out www.fritzbeermusic.com. Thank you for listening to the Tuesday Night Cigar Club podcast. This is Keith A. Howell saying until next time, friends, unless we see you sooner at the pub. So keep it smoky, and for God's sake, keep it ballsy as well.